Will you get the debate menu going? You got to hit that check mark. Why am I not seeing the same session info? Do you have the live chat on yours?
No, sorry.
There we go. No, and Jovan's not finishing up on the other show because we can see his live feed. He's just not at his chair. Where is he? Jovan! For all the shit when things happen that he throws me under the bus for, even when it's not my fault, now I'm just going to address the fact that it is 4:03 as he sits there.
I literally said that I would be here towards 5 minutes in, so start, and then I'll come sit down.
When was that ever said to me?
I said it to Luthien, the producer.
Okay, well, when did you say that?
Literally when I got on here 10 minutes
I love
ago.
that job. I used to have a job where at 4:45 I could call and tell them my job's going to start at 5:05. It's crazy.
No, I said you guys
That's
get
crazy.
started. I'll come in.
You like the flip? You like the flip?
Gaslighting.
You like being in the hot seat?
Gaslighting,
Jovan's fault.
gatekeeping, and girl bossing.
I'm sorry, what is this?
You gaslight, you gatekeep, and you girl boss.
Oh, I thought you were just describing your Tuesday. All right, let's fade in. We fading in?
God.
There we go. Hey, welcome everybody. This is Calling It Now. Calling It Now is a debate show. You can call in and debate us on lots of topics. Right now, I'm not going to, I'll try to resist letting it all become an AI debate show. But Jesus fucking Christ, am I annoyed with the people over the Hank Green stuff? Where I'm literally
I saw your thread.
I'm literally like, Hank Green literally is modeling correct behavior. Hank Green recognized he had a problem with his reliance on LLMs and how much time he was spending with them, and is like, hey, I shouldn't do that. And then people are just literally like going all the way to assuming that
what was he doing? Was he using it to like script write and stuff?
To research. And he said that he talks a lot, to that he had too much, that he spends too much time talking to LLMs, and he realized he was getting like dopamine hits from it, to the point of it being, but no, yeah, basically people are now presuming everything, that basically it was writing the scripts. And Luthien, I don't know if you know you have your camera on in the background, but if you forget and then pick your nose, Jovan and I will see it. You can leave it on if you want. I'm just telling you. Basically that, yeah, he was relying a little bit too much on it. He was, small FYI, at the end of last segment, music did not play for the credits. Oh, in the last show? Okay. I got to get a lot of stuff fixed over there anyway. I'm literally working nonstop building these tools for the things we're doing. Basically, he relies on it too much. He was exploring too many ideas and things like that. And people are presuming that he's saying he basically was becoming a slop factory. It's like the difference between people like Destiny, who have an opinion on Gaza, from reading the summaries on Wikipedia, but not opening the links. And it's literally, what also is very frustrating as you watch people talk shit about it, is like, they still fundamentally do not know how capable it is. And that's not me cheerleading. That is to our peril. You are ignoring what this thing is capable of. You now have, I think the last check they did was here in 2026, and over 84% of professional software engineers say they regularly use AI to do their coding. And then it's funny because you'll get all these people who are like, if you utilize AI in any capacity, I'm done with you. Posted to a Meta platform. Literally, you're utilizing it in some capacity. You're setting the unnuanced any capacity, and then you just did it, you fucking idiot.
My thing that I have no issue with, and that I've said I have no issue with, I actually think AI as a pulling tool is super useful. So if you're like, pull me however many studies on this topic as possible, because that's what's going to happen when you click on Google anyway. It is doing essentially the same thing when I go into Google Scholar and I type in whatever. But it's the people who then rely on AI's summary of the study without opening and then reading the study that piss me the fuck off.
Right. As a tool like Wikipedia at first made people seem dumber because they would say shit on Wikipedia, that like summaries from Wikipedia, and not actually understand it and never follow links. It's the same way. Somebody like Hank Green, as smart as he is, isn't literally going, well, ChatGPT told me tomatoes are blue, so I'm going to report that they're blue. Like, get the fuck out of here. And legitimately, I don't give a fuck what small businesses do with it. In most cases, if it is pursuing honest attempts to remain competitive in a world where these large companies that have access to all the RAM and memory and shit and get to pay the high end.
So what is
the big
HMB?
AI stuff. Why? What was that? The fuck? What just played in my ears? Oh, weird. Why would that have come through? That's also strange.
Is a YouTube ad.
But it shouldn't have come through. Oh, because you're on Chrome. And Chrome is what's feeding the call system. Anyway, literally, like, if it's a small business, here are my issues. Don't represent slop as art. Don't represent anything. Actually, I can't even say anything AI created as art, because I was a photographer technically using AI before we were using the word AI. Because content-aware fill was a popular Photoshop tool where you would take a photo and in the background there'd be a trash can, and you're trying to do a fantasy photo and not give away that it was a trash can, and it was a machine learning tool. You'd circle the trash can and it would fill it in, understanding, and it got better and better over time, what it's supposed to do. That tool is now called AI content-aware fill. It's the same tool. It's just gotten even better and smarter over years. And so don't represent AI as art, or at least elements of it as art. I was saying this the other day, though, too, to Luthien. Like, I don't care if there's a person who is poor and they're trying to make it as a musician and they're a rapper and they are doing their best and working hard every day and they are making good songs over AI beats. I legitimately don't care if I, as a person with tremendous privilege, am not going to tell a person who is poor, working hard, and doesn't have time to go and get those other skills. But if they're good at lyricists and all that stuff, I'm not going to be the one who's like, hey, right now, when you haven't broken out, you're wrong for doing that thing.
I will criticize, because all you have to do is Google free blank type beat and you'll get a beat.
But that's not true. That's not true. As far as like, yes, you can do that. But as far as like, if a person is legitimately they're trying to demonstrate their abilities as a lyricist and everything else, and they can go to a tool and be like, hey, here's the song, here's the melody in my head, blah, 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 blah. I just need a beat to match it. Beats to match is not the same as if it's music first, lyrics first, and then the beat. I'm not going to cast aspersions on poor people for the tools that they're using unless they're representing something as art that isn't. So if a poor person is like, hey, look at this painting I did and it's AI slop. What's that?
I would say that's representing something as art, though.
So he shouldn't represent the beat as the art, but do you think that he couldn't legitimately, with all of the sampling that exists across music, you don't believe the rest of what being done is art?
I would say sampling is vastly different.
Okay, why?
Because somebody is actually sampling. Someone's actually taking the time to cut it, to mix it.
To me, it's like the importance isn't that. And again, what I actually legitimately think, Jovan, I think if we got into this, I'd be like, Jovan, I think you're getting classist here, because my main point isn't. My main point isn't actually that if you have the resources to not do an AI beat, you absolutely shouldn't. My main point here is we at a point of privilege shouldn't be looking down at literal workers and poor people and people who are struggling and going, hey, you're not allowed to use those tools that are currently being used by rich companies to transfer your money as a poor person to them. Because the biggest issue I have here is the class issue. In fact, anybody who's mad at Hank, not because of their unnuanced take, but because they're like, Hank's rich though, so I'm still mad at him. And I don't know what Hank's richness situation is. I don't know what his company looks like, if it's fair, if he is, I don't know what his net worth is. I don't think any of us really do. But that I would have at least been like, okay, great. But when it comes to a separation of class and it's literally these tools where it's like, we kind of argued, my partner and I, the other day about an AI flyer. And I'm like, I don't care if a poor person, I don't care if a person who's independent makes an AI flyer, especially if there's data that shows that helps them get closer to their goal of artistic independence. But if they then go, I made an AI flyer, I'm a graphic artist, buy my AI generated shit, I don't care, because it is literally class solidarity to go, you don't get to, I'm not going to cut you off from the tools. Especially, I love watching a person complain about this while drinking a Coke and getting on AI or getting on Meta. And you're like, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. So the little guy that you actually have the ability to hurt here, it's cool for you to go after and cast all of these aspersions, not referring to Hank now, the poor person, while you literally Coke made an ad made completely by AI, while you are literally creating the product for Meta that they are building their AIs on. It's wildly crazy.
I have two thoughts on this. One, I think you're never going to be able to separate art from AI from music, in the sense that like
it's too late.
Plugin. Well, not even that. It's just like most plugins are going to be using AI,
right?
To be like
auto
smart
drum
plugins.
Tracks. Literally have been used for years. Auto drum tracks have been used for decades by musicians now.
Yeah,
or at
but I
least
don't know
over
that
a
they're called
decade.
the same.
And now,
I don't know that
they are
the same
smarter
thing.
because of their training on AI.
But what I was trying to say is,
Then
I think there's a
line's
difference
arbitrary.
between. I think there's a difference between. Most lines are arbitrary. I think there's a difference between like.
Oh, I have to
I'm
attack
using
somebody in the
AI.
live chat.
I'm using AI to with this tool, this like plugin that like removes noise in the room, versus I'm using AI to generate actual music. I think is a different. I have a difference in thoughts on those two things.
Sure, the lines are always going to blur more and more, but I have to address Spiral keeping out, because here's what fucking annoys me. I swear to God, the number of baby leftists who will say the phrase, no ethical consumption under capitalism, and not know the greater meaning of that term, all the shit behind it. The number of baby, did I say atheists? I meant leftists, who will say class solidarity, not understand. Jimmy making the you enjoy the products of capitalism yet criticize it. Very interesting arguments. Nope, fuck you in your fucking face. Not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying the fact that people literally target their energy at small people they can actually hurt and participate. That if you are doing that you are participating in the larger billionaire goal of keeping that person from actually becoming competition. Again, there obviously, even when that are lines and reasons and limits. But at the moment, you have a lot of people giving these unnuanced takes of, if you use AI at all, you're dead to me. Well, guess what? You're using AI. So if you're going to use that unnuanced take, and then realistically, the dead to you people will be the people you have the option to make dead to you, and you're not going to be going out of your way to cut out the optional, the absolutely like things you actually don't need, but are built on these AI things, then you are absolutely a fucking hypocrite, because this is about class solidarity, and it isn't about, I have no problem with, I hate AI. I am anti-AI within a capitalist framework, while understanding, in fact, I probably hate it more than you who think that you hate it, who have the unnuanced takes, because I actually now have to interact with it at such a level and depth that you guys are also the people I'm having to argue with how soon this problem is coming. Because so many of you are so fucking wrong about what AI is capable of. You can't decide between AI is this terrible evil and it's a danger and all of this sort of stuff with it can't even count the letters in R and strawberry. It's garbage. It just spreads misinformation, all that stuff. There's like these conflicting things. And because of the unawareness of where it is, you are unaware of the actual distance we are from absolute catastrophe. Legitimately. We are so close to catastrophe because right now we actually focus on people who are not the problem, utilizing and even destroying a person, trying to destroy a person. I mean, he's going to be fine. He's rich. But the unnuanced takes towards somebody like Hank, but Hank is rich because I don't actually care about Hank, putting a lot of focus on that while doing nothing meaningful to the fact that like Hank in his position of privilege is going to be fine. He's going to be fine. Meanwhile, just accusations of use of AI got 2 black authors this last week, their book contracts canceled just for accusations. So legitimately, your focus fucking sucks and you don't know where the actual danger is and how close it is. And right now, class solidarity doesn't look like it exists. Worker solidarity doesn't look like it exists. And people having this, I'm going to say no ethical consumption under capitalism, but not understand when a small business has to resort to using AI tools to remain competitive. Literally, Jovan and I, we are going to be doing a debate this Tuesday. Let's say we allowed both sides to add a fact checker in the background. If their fact checker is a human with AI and ours is a fact checker without, they will win. Because the quantity and quality of fact checking they would be able to get through, one person armed with an AI would be at least 10 times. Would be able to, you could have AI listening to us, transcribing it, finding everything, getting the actual studies, using things, because AI doesn't have to be dumb. It doesn't have to, you can create multi-layer agents that are capable of doing things that then even fact check themselves, and so right now, if you want us to lose, say no one on our side gets to use AI. In the same way that right now in the political sphere for leftism to gather hold, we are having to do things within a political sphere that already exists, within the Democratic Party, and we are having to raise money to fight money. You will have to use AI to fight AI, and ultimately, at the end of the day, the problem with AI is capitalism. And a lot of that's being fucking lost as well.
My stance is pretty firm, though, going to be that, like, I don't mind AI for research tools. I don't mind AI for large data aggregation. To an extent, there's an ethical play in there about racism baked into AI models. And that's like, there's a good critique there. And I don't think we're past that point yet where that's not an issue. But I'm okay for AI for like large aggregate things. I'm even okay with AI for coding things. I think most people don't have the money to pay coders.
Right.
And especially if you're using it for like personal use, I have genuinely no issue with someone like, I want to use Claude to help me make a fun website for me, myself, and I. Right. I have no real issues with those either, because like most people don't have the
you and I are both using Claude to build things for more than just ourselves.
Because one of my biggest things with that too is like, it's like if you go to Squarespace now and use their pre-built sites, homie, it's AI.
Right.
And AI is walking you through the pre-built stuff. But my big contention will always be with AI art.
Yeah.
One, because of the training models.
Yes. And
2, because I've yet to see AI art that I don't look at and go like, God damn, anything else would be better than this, except for one piece of AI art. There is one piece of AI art that I think stands tall above all else.
Is it Donald Trump sucking somebody or something? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is a good point, though, with music. Music is the place where my old career is one that has been destroyed by AI. And so to have people come at me as though I'm pro AI, when legitimately it's a good thing I switched to this, because I would not succeed as a commercial photographer, which is what I was before I became a YouTuber. If I would be out by now. And by the way, I want to respond. Founder Utopia, to be fair, Jimmy, you are literally right now defending a millionaire who's for using AI to script his videos while addressing your ire at frustrated poor people for calling him out. You are incorrect. Fundamentally, you have made, the problem I'm having, Founder. I don't remember whether you're somebody who usually annoys me or not, so I'm going to assume you're not and be nice. You are literally doing what I'm describing. You have made presumptions about what Hank Green says he did. Hank Green did not use AI to script his videos. The only thing he has described is using his videos to do research, to consider stuff, and to explore ideas, as in on his own when he's doing things, he's going down the rabbit hole of, I do this with medical shit all the time. All the fucking time. In fact, I had a epidural steroid shot put in my back last Wednesday, and I have a Perplexity thread where I was like, hey, can you please go check if these things are normal, these side effects are normal, but I'm sorry, I took that job away from the rich doctor. But can you go check all of these side effects? So, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. Let me finish.
What I'm looking... Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Let me finish. So you're literally saying, defending him for AI scripting his video. That is not one of the things that he said he did with it. His main issue with AI was that he was chasing dopamine hits and having long conversations and enjoying AI in a way that was becoming unhealthy, as well as using it to research things. And so people assumed, because he used the phrase, I appreciate the pushback, which you can say he lied, but they thought that was a ChatGPT phrase, which, by the way, it can, and he can still have not lied. If he is in fact telling the truth that he's talking to these bots too much, he can literally pick up the phrase, I appreciate the pushback, the way we pick up phrases from each other. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I'm just saying,
call in. Sorry. Call in if you continue to disagree with me. I'll stay nice and tell you where I think you're wrong. Go ahead.
I wanted to pull up his exact quote. He said, I've been relying too heavily on AI as a research aid. It can be very useful for this task, giving me access to a lot of papers I didn't know existed really fast. But I think that has been to the detriment of my work, because it has not given me the freedom to find all of my own ways into and around a topic.
I agree with that.
Well, so
if you rely
my question
heavily,
is,
go ahead.
What's different between this and him going on Google Scholar and typing transgender healthcare?
I think he's even saying what the difference is. AI is trained on a certain thing. So most of the time, AI will have your profile. And so the studies it's presenting you at that point.
I get you.
Right. Google Scholar, though, if you guys don't think Google Scholar is getting improved by AI tools as well, do you know what I mean? Its algorithm and everything else, you're crazy.
Well, didn't Google say that they're going to move the predominant, also, I was going to say earlier that, I feel like we should go back to GeoCity website design. I just feel like it would just be really great for everyone's mental health if we just moved back to the way websites looked at the time of GeoCities. And if you type GeoCities into Google and look at what happens. Amazing. Google for this one thing specifically. That's so funny.
I will do that. Caleb, the Christian, call in. We are ready to hear you out.
But yeah, I agree with AI as can be used as a research tool, but I do think the perspective, like you said, where it's hey, we need to also be sure that we're checking data that may disagree with us, because the AI models are going to largely know how we're searching and look for stuff that's specific. I do agree with that fact as well.
Bro, I'll tell you what drives me fucking crazy is when a person says something like, a person who believes they know about class solidarity, and then they'll say something along the lines of but cheap options exist. When you are broke, no, they do not. There's no such thing as a cheap option when you have $0.
I will say, I hope every company that uses AI to try to give me customer service when I call them and they don't just connect me to a person, fuck off. Nope. Nothing anyone says will get me on this train.
Yeah, I'm trying to think
every
about
time
that.
It's bad. Every time it's the worst thing I've ever used.
I feel like I agree with you while sitting and framing going, I know better than to say it in a way where I'm implying forever. Because whatever we say today, people will quote. People still say AI can't spell strawberry.
The moment.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying though? They still will call it strawberry. They'll be like, it can't count the number of R's in strawberry. You are not allowed to use the web caller because you could be AI. No, okay. That person says they're from Sweden. I'll potentially take them.
For those who can't do it, if you type in GeoCities into Google, it turns all the text into Comic Sans, and it's beautiful.
That is very funny. It is too hot here right now. Anyway, we also don't believe in capitalism. We don't believe in... by the way, legitimately, I think I am more AI than 95% of people who say they are anti-AI. Legitimately, I believe that is true. Despite the fact that I probably also use it 95% more than the average person does too. Specifically coding tools right now. I don't spend a lot of time with chatbots. Coding tools, and then quickness to get to sources though. As far as research goes, quickly getting to sources, AI is the best way. And
it's also good for just pulling. So like I have my list of sources and whatnot. And I know that I can drop my list into a Claude workspace and just type into it what I'm looking for from the hundreds of sources I have, and it just boom, this is the one that you were looking for.
I'm training I'm creating a system, basically an archive of all of our videos. And I'm making a local AI that will be built on Olama, but basically it'll be able to, in the future, we're going to be able to read trends and conversations that are happening right now and go, oh, I hated when the shit happened in Gaza. Okay, first of all, I hated that way, way more. I realize the framing of this will make it seem like that was way worse. What happened in Gaza was way worse. Then after, a mild hate in comparison to that was people being like, you didn't even talk about Gaza before, and I'm not even joking. It was like 2 months before October 7th. I went on a rant about the apartheid state of Israel and the bullshit claim there.
I do just need to say, guys, you are missing what I said. You're missing what I said. I use it to pull data I've already read and have verified and keep in a list, so I don't have to scroll through the list to find it, because I don't always remember the title of the article. I don't always remember those things. And then if I'm pulling something, I always do one really fun thing that you should also do on Google and Wikipedia, which is you click the source and read it.
Right. This is why if you're using AI for fact checking, I think every AI company is fucking terrible. I think they're evil, and there is nothing that could happen to a CEO of an AI company that I would condemn. That's how I'll put it. Literally nothing. I can still rank which ones are the most evil to the least evil, but they're all evil, and I feel that way about all of them. Arguably, believe it or not, at the moment, Meta is more evil, but it has less practical evil because it's not as big. So it's like Meta and X are the most evil. XAI are the most evil, barely outflanking OpenAI. Anyway, Perplexity is the one that if you're going to do fact checking, Perplexity creates a lot of sources for things that you fact check. It will give you a list of them. And so if you legitimately, obviously, we've all debated people who were just posting Google links in Facebook threads. No one is advocating for returning to that world. And I hope we moved past it.
Well, and like I said, even now, if you're like, well, I'm just going to go Google something, guess what Google's search engine is doing now? It's not designed the way it used to be. You're not getting Google's like algorithm anymore. The entirety of the search engine is becoming AI driven, like to where Google's just using their own, like it's just the nature of it. And unfortunately, nothing any of us do is going to get rid of it unless we got rid of the internet at this point. I just think like there should be carve outs. Like, you know what worries me in people using AI for songwriting or even like plugin tools?
Capitalism.
You know what I get? Well, yeah, I get worried that these companies are going to put carve outs where they now own your shit.
Yeah.
Some do.
No,
some do already. But I'm worried that like, you know, I use
at the end of the day,
Elgato,
we don't own anything anymore.
That's true. Yo, the subscription-based model is you literally own jack shit.
Right.
You own nothing in your life except maybe the clothes on your back.
Billy the Kid, we remember you guys, we were fighting with him in chat a lot. He recently, I thought it was very cool of him. Good on you, Billy. Was basically like, Jimmy, I hate saying this, but you are right. When he was talking about private ownership and shit, and I told him, asked him if he has an HOA, he said yes. And I said, then you don't own your house. And he looked at his HOA paperwork and came back and found out, oh, wait, I think I own my home. Therefore, I have as much reasonable dominion. Obviously, I can't supersede federal law or state law, but apparently I also can't supersede Linda about my house. And if Linda, the HOA manager, decides something and I stop paying or I try to rebel, they literally, with very little challenge, will just take the house. And then it's theirs. You don't own shit.
Dude, like, this phone in my hand is not my property.
Yeah.
Right?
You got
for multiple reasons. Well, not even just that. Planned obsolescence, right, factors into this. The fact that if you read Apple's terms of service, anything you do voids your warranty on this phone.
Right.
And that's just this. Then you have companies like PlayStation that can sue you for modding their consoles. Even separate of then you have Nintendo who shuts down, but like, you don't own, or famously, Jimmy, we video game online. What do we use primarily to play our games?
Steam.
We own licenses.
Oh, yeah.
We own
Sorry,
licenses to games.
Brain injury.
We don't own now Steam is a brain injury. Now Steam is
Babe, will you bring me a cold drink, please?
In that, like, even if the game gets delisted, they won't remove it from your library. Sony will, right? But like, you still only own a license to everything. All your movies, even if you have physical media, if I buy a DVD, it's illegal for me to copy the file onto a drive. Right.
You don't own it. There are some exceptions to that. There have been court cases where you are allowed to create a backup, but that hasn't stopped companies from going after people using those backups. And so it's kind of like, in theory, you should be allowed to, but it also hasn't worked out.
But that's just like capitalism's. I talked about this by the way, it was very funny, the juxtaposition yesterday during LineCon of Thinker doing a presentation on entrepreneurship and then me coming in doing a presentation on why we should all be socialist.
I don't think that's crazy. I like that dichotomy. You literally are an entrepreneur. Yeah.
It just made me laugh.
Did you two debate at all?
No.
Okay. I was gonna say, I doubt you don't line up.
So my big thing is just like, it's crazy that we just have to do, and everything being like software now, all software being subscription based, makes me want to pull my fucking hair out.
Yep.
I should just be able to pay to use Adobe Premiere one time, and then I have Adobe Premiere.
In fairness, they already had fucked you though with that. As a person who was in the Adobe ecosystem before it was subscriptions for a living, it was literally like, here's Premiere or here's Adobe Suite, 2010. And then the difference in features between 2010 and the 2013 release would be so significant that if you then didn't then go buy again at $2,500 or whatever craziness it was, you basically were going to get left behind by everybody who did. So basically these giant corporations all along the way, the biggest problem that we've seen with that is now the artificial level of how we're doing our podcast now when we need to be soliciting calls. Okay, guys, we disagree with you on a lot of shit.
Screw ourselves for tomorrow.
We should be talking about the things we disagree on. There's a debate menu down here. Look, we're atheists, we're leftists. We don't believe God exists. We don't believe capitalism is good. We'd love to talk to you about if you think capitalism is good. We'd love to talk to you about if you think it is possible for AI to exist ethically in a capitalist world. Because at the end of the day, you take the capitalism out of it, literally none of it, even AI art at that point wouldn't matter, because we would just shame people who called their AI art. We'd just be like, okay, well, that's dumb. That's a dumb thing that you're doing here. Because there wouldn't be real repercussions to people who are trying to survive as artists.
You want to talk about how shit capitalism is? Remember when Amazon's web service went down and we lost access to like most things on the internet? Because one company had a fucking outage? Terrifying. I genuinely...
No, it's one. I just got here. I thought Jimmy was making a crazy argument. What you're going to have today are a lot of people who are upset by the things I've said because they probably don't fully understand it, or because they have taken an unnuanced position. Fundamentally, as happens often on this channel, a year from now, people will be saying my thoughts as their own, and they won't be apologizing for being dicks. I remember. And I think we are going to look back super fucking ashamed of ourselves. So it's kind of, we are doing right now the equivalent of the climate change issue, where people were shaming small local companies for using gas guzzler trucks for like a landscaping company. or shaming people for not recycling enough locally. We are doing that. Equivalent.
I hate that. I talked about this yesterday on my talk, like that, like we convinced everybody that it's their use of plastic water bottles that's killing the planet, and not BP and the other 100 companies that are responsible for 75% of carbon emissions.
Right. Yep. I'm looking forward. I'm gonna be patient. That we got a capitalism call coming in. Though they say they're on the left, but they're defending capitalism.
They say something in the auto screen. They already said something that I can't stand.
No, I know. That's why I'm excited to talk about it. I mean, fundamentally, before they hear it, before the spoilers, it's impossible to. Like it's.
But here's the problem. Even if it were, if you have to, it's going to spoil the call a little bit, but if you have to regulate something so much that it doesn't look like its original self, why not just go the extra step and get rid of it?
Right. This is the point I always make with religion when people are talking about how Christianity has evolved over the years and now what we were like today.
Liberation theologists.
And you're literally like, okay, wait. So if Christianity was something back in 0 and now in 2026, it's something else that's better. They couldn't have used Christianity to improve it. They had to use some sort of outside force thing. Why don't we use that and get rid of the Christianity? And my argument would be that source, that thing, was a sort of logic and empathy-based humanism. That essentially every way in which people have embraced and said Christianity is better now, like in the way it's progressed, it's better every time it's gotten a little bit more like humanism. Every time it gets a little bit closer to being humanist, it's better. So why don't we just skip waiting on all the other things to catch up to humanism and just be humanists? Anyway. All right, we'll give this one a shot, and we want to hear from y'all. Let's talk, and let's I don't know why maybe that person deleted their own. John from Washington State, you're on the line with Jimmy and Jovan. Now, John, my first question to you is, why has your age and your location changed since the last time you called? They hung up immediately. We thinking that was a troll call?
I think so.
They think they weren't going to get caught? Okay. In fairness, they did use John again. So they're consistent with their fake name. While these additional calls screen, let me tell you guys some things. Tomorrow we have at 4 o'clock, The Line has a podcast with Jovan and I. Right now, we have a new app that goes with The Line as a podcast. It is at linepod.app. It is only available to enter if you are on at least the $10 tier on Patreon. It is automatically authenticated when you go to linepod.app. And what linepod.app is a news feed. It is, for me, meant to be a replacement from Reddit. But the cool thing about this is you can actually see what news stories people are upvoting and talking about and leaving comments. And we actually go and we read all those stories and we pick from that our outline of what stories to talk about on the podcast. So because we kind of, the longer name is the Line Pod Newsroom, you actually get an active user participant experience. So we have the best version of knowledge of what people actually give a shit about, what we're actually talking about, frustrated by, and feel like, and y'all feel like you need to hear more commentary on from Jovan and I and whatever guests we have on with us in the future. What was that look on your face? You get a bad sip?
Yeah, I just got a taste of like, I'm going to vomit.
Oh, gross.
Not because I'm sick, but just like,
that's really gross.
Hey, who's going to be on with you pre-podcast tomorrow?
I think we don't have a show tomorrow because Promise wasn't available.
Okay, cool. I was just making sure.
Yeah. Yep. So linepod.app, linpod.app. and patrons do get access. We'd love to see. I'm going to be in there. The show's tomorrow. I'm going to be in there a lot tonight, looking through, seeing who commented, who put what on, trying to encourage Jovan to make sure he remembers to use his star button, because I think people will really like seeing it.
Not only have I remembered the app, but I plugged it on the Sunday show.
No, I appreciate that. Are you remembering to open the app and hit the star buttons, not just upvotes?
I plugged it on the Sunday show.
Yeah, I gotcha. If you'd hit the stars instead of just the upvotes, it tells other people which hosts starred it. Only hosts and people who pay a certain amount can star. Yep.
That part I hadn't done.
If you haven't seen Promise in a long time, why didn't you watch the show last Monday? Didn't Promise and I do a show like 5 days ago?
Did you?
I'm having a lot of time. The app is obviously in the early days, so right now is the time to join too if you want to say in how it develops and how to improve. In fact, I just threw a thread up there for everybody who has the app already. I just put a thread in there at the very top of the feed asking how the app is. You can click join the conversation and you can leave a comment with what your experience on the app has been like, what features you feel like need to be added, or any of that stuff. So go to there, linepod.app. Okay. Jimmy says double T words normally challenge equals impossible. Well, it's not my fault. Normal
you do
is
be
wrong.
like button.
Mitten. Kitten, mountain. That's even a single T. I just don't forget it. Mountain.
No, you actually say the T. Yeah, most Americans drop the T.
Mountain. Yeah.
Mountain,
mitten. It actually, I'm so used to it now. It feels weird to do the other way.
I do when I'm in like theater mode. Like I just naturally on stage, I have much more like better diction.
Yeah.
But then when I get back to my normal life, I'm like, you know how many seconds I saved not saying that T?
But you have better diction. I have better diction. Diction. That's actually a hard one to keep the T in. Diction.
Always got to one up Jimmy Snow.
True.
Hashtag snow sometimes melts.
So snow often melts.
Hashtag snow usually melts. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I mean, you know what? Okay, guys, by the way, this Tuesday, Jovan and I are debating Jake Var and Marte Ruelas. They are kind of like Tate Bro style GOP guys. Big friends of Andrew Wilson, and that's the closest Wilson's ever going to get to being on this channel.
It's just going to turn into them trying to change a debate on economics and policy into a culture war debate, and they've already made that clear.
Yeah, they've already tried to do that in the background. And so that will be driven by callers. Callers will get to choose each topic that we are debating on. We have basically several small debates, like in a town hall instead. We're
trying this again, chat.
That's coming this Tuesday.
Didn't go great last time, but we blame Euro and racist grandpa for that.
Yeah, fucking melting down over the mildest criticism. I will tell you, I'm not looking forward to. So I had to start vestibular physical therapy this last week, and I had my first one, and it fucking wiped me the fuck out for the rest of the day. Mostly the stuff that they do to my neck to try and release something to get the headaches to go away. And I have another session on Tuesday, so. No, I don't think they'll cancel last minute. I actually canceled last minute on them. I canceled it or delayed it by at least, I think we were like a week out, and I was the one who delayed it last time because I got in the car accident. We were going to debate back in May. And then they delayed after me.
Then you delayed first, then they delayed.
Yeah, I basically was like, I'll do it with the broken sternum and stuff in a week or two, and then he said that he needed some time for
these are the guys that called us the F and the N slur. Well, I guess they didn't call us the N word; they just said the N word.
Right. In a I believe we should be using, like, we should have a discussion about when it's okay to use N word. Yeah.
Guys,
anyway.
Why don't we debate whether we should be able to say the N word? What?
Is Brenda from God is Gray ever going to be on the line? If she wanted to, I mean, she wouldn't be on the line. She could be Jimmy Snow on the line, but the line has exclusively secular humanist. Like, she's not an atheist, so she wouldn't qualify to be on the line. But I think she's, we check in with each other every so often, and I think she's just got kind of a totally different life now. And so, in as much as she wanted to, sure, but I'm not going to push that on her or anything.
Jeff's going to be on with Matt this week, isn't he?
I don't know.
I'm like 90% sure. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, could be. All right, we'll take the first call. I don't think this is going to be very
fruitful,
contentious. But remember, 336-543-2101. If you want to debate us, you want to call and express any disagreement. And by the way, so many of you, I will be chill. So many of you popping off about my AI takes. I don't even know you're not AI until you call me. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I think I hate AI more than you, while advocating that we need to redirect who we're mad at for using it. Bill in Kentucky. Bill in Kentucky, you are on the line with Jimmy and Jovan. Says you've never voted in your life. Capitalism destroyed itself by being greedy. I think our response would be that that's capitalism will always do that. What are you calling in on?
Yes.
Cool.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you know, a little capitalism, you know, but you got to have, you can't let the government destroy all the unions. And they made laws to where they could get rid of all the unions, and the man can't, you know, we can't help ourselves no more. I worked the coal mines. They destroyed it as soon as Ronald Reagan hit. In the 80s, everything become contractors. And I had to go work for another guy in the middle, quick, Bill, you know.
Bill, are you calling in with like an actual argument to make, or a question that you have? We don't really.
Well,
we're not
you
like an
said
open
that
mic channel.
Capitalism failed, but
yes,
it's not. If you just use capitalism, like back when they made DuPont sell, they made Bob Bell sell. They don't let you own everything. What happened? What happened?
What happened with what? I'm very confused on. Are you calling to argue or just to agree that capitalism failed?
I'm arguing you that it is good if it's done right.
Okay, what is the right way to do capitalism?
Bad. Well, we got to go back in time and not let just a few good things. One, Elon Musk should not own as much as he owns. And it's all through the government. You can't let one, you know, it's everything. And there should be way more companies involved in all of this if it's fair. This is 100% monopoly, not capitalism.
So let's say we lived in a capitalist country that had lots of companies and not a lot of central power. What changes that allows a person? What changes that a company does eventually become a central? Bill, there's no way you know my question. Bill, there's no way you know what question you're answering because I didn't ask the important part of it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay.
I mean this politely. Have you had anything to drink today?
No. I don't drink, ain't drunk in a long time.
Okay. Bill, if you had a correct capitalist country, as you're putting it, with lots of companies, what is the thing that causes one of those companies to gain monopoly and central power?
Our politicians.
I think this may be too nuanced of a conversation for this. I don't know. Yes, I guess that's technically part of the answer. A company gets more money, gets more capital, is able to use that to influence laws in the direction they need. The first place they need
100%.
to influence those laws is to lighten regulations against companies having influence over politics. They do that. Then the lighter it gets, the more regulations off of their company they get, the less they have to pay their workers, the more they get to keep a minimum wage still for decades. And then eventually we end up here. What I'm trying to tell you is, Bill, even if we quote unquote do capitalism right the way you're describing, it will end up back here again. And every time we look back at those eras of the time it was done right and everybody was happy, we're only talking about the people who represented the population, not the people who made up the population. Because there isn't a time in America's history, for example, that we did everything right and we had anything like income equality. We just had times where white men were doing pretty good across the board. but I don't know if you're going to be able to consider all of that.
Well, if we'll go back to that our father worked at a tanning company in the 60s under a union. There was, we lived in a 15,000 people town here all my life, and we got very few mixed race. You know, we got all enough to get all the good food. And,
hey, Bill, why don't you vote?
By the way, in 1960, 25% of people live below the poverty line. Go ahead.
Yeah, right here where I'm at. And
why don't you vote? John's question was, why don't you vote, Bill?
I don't have a chance. There's 86% vote the opposite way of what I would do. And Bernie
you don't vote in your local elections?
No.
Who's your district representative?
I couldn't tell you.
Why not? And he's gone.
I wanted to ask him who his governor was. I have a feeling. I have a feeling.
That was crazy.
By the way, most of the country knows right now because of the whole fucking thing happening with McConnell that Andy Beshear is not most of the country, but I would have often had to look that up. Right now, Andy Beshear's the one pretending he's going to do anything. The deadline is upon us. Andy Beshear didn't do shit. Just for the record, it was all, look at me. Oh, look at me. I'm going to demand proof of life. Look at me.
They're still trying to convince us that fucking Mitch McConnell ain't dead.
Dude, that guy.
It's been weeks.
But I think, is tomorrow the deadline? If by tomorrow he hasn't died, hasn't been declared dead, they don't have to do the special election anymore.
And then the next day, he gonna magically be dead.
Yeah, Tuesday we'll finally find out he's dead. Ooh-wee, look at me. I'm Mr. Beshear. Ooh-wee.
I love the cheating from the Republicans. It's amazing,
dude, and so fucking transparent.
It's so in your face. Like, they don't even try.
All right, let's try and have some fun with this debate menu. What should we put on the debate menu?
Trans women are braver than Jesus Christ.
Trans women are more brave.
Sure.
Than Jesus Christ. I got trans is good for America. I don't think MAGA has no solutions is getting us anywhere right now. Capitalism has failed in America. That one's probably pretty good. I don't think Republicans can spell DSA, so I don't know if we should leave that one on there for the moment.
They can't spell DSA. It's phenomenal.
Thank you.
I mean, I always love to talk about how Trump bingled Iran. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Never mind. I keep wanting to talk about stuff, but then I'm like, fuck, it'll burn it for tomorrow.
Oh, we can still look. We just use it as an opportunity to say we're going to be talking about it more tomorrow. I'll tell you what. There's more news on. Do you know my new baby topic that I like talking a lot about? Fucking flock cameras. There's some new news.
Yeah.
There's some new news
I'm going to want to talk
flocks.
about tomorrow. I'm going to want to talk about the how the DOJ dropped all charges for lack of evidence on the guy that they claimed had ripped up the reflecting pool.
Janine Pirro getting fucking fleeced by Trump.
Or will we be able to do videos tomorrow or no?
No, I don't have time to get all of that work done.
All right.
It's funny because people think vibe coding also means you don't spend. Literally, y'all can ask Luthien. I get up and I sit at my computer and I basically do quality assessment and function tool building. And there's some other stuff that's traditional coding stuff that I've learned since doing it, stack management and the like. But it's literally all day, every day. I wake up, I start, and I end. But I was going to say when I get into bed, but I often take a laptop to bed and keep going. And then I've been taking my phone because Claude, you can do remote control now. I don't know if you know that. You can control a feed. So if you're working on a project on Claude Code, you can open Claude on your phone and you can see the thread on your computer, and you can send commands. So even when I go to my appointments while I'm in the waiting room, I'm literally like, okay, please do let's do a screenshot of every place people actually are and do an assessment of overlapping elements and shit like that. Anyway, it's good function. What else should we put on the debate menu? Y'all tell me. What else should be going in there?
Hashtag debate our dads. Hashtag debate our dads.
Debate our dads. Hell yeah. Guys, who's got a dad they can send me? How about Black Lives Matter was right?
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I feel like we're going to get very bottom of the barrel.
Seems like a call I'm going to have to take the brunt of, but yeah.
I got work to do. I was trying to find topics you'd be excited to be the primary on. I already spent an hour complaining about AI in a way that, while I was right, I'll also be like, that was a waste of time later. But I needed it off my chest. People are being fucking idiots about it. Thank you, John Darwin, for the helmet.
You shouldn't vote for any APAC candidates.
No votes for APAC candidates. Reps in 26.
Computer.
I added in 26 so that we don't get the dumb fucking, you already voted for an APAC candidate. Also, wait, do I agree with this? Let me think. Is Tallarico an APAC candidate? Has he taken any? I sure fucking hope not.
Not as far as I've seen.
Okay, good. Then I think we're good, because I think I'm voting for Tallarico, even if Ken Paxton, especially, I don't know that I'm in Texas next year, and I feel like I can't leave Texas having not tried to stop Paxton. Did you guys know we made all weed illegal again yesterday? Did you guys know that? All Texas of it? Did? Yes. All of our Delta strains, everything. And the fucking, literally, I'm not even joking, the new regulations, at a certain amount of possession, you are eligible for a life sentence. On weed! On weed in Texas, on weed, you are eligible for a life sentence. There is an amount of weed that you can be eligible for I haven't smoked in since before Luthien and I started dating, probably like 6 months before that, I would say. So, I mean, I'm a couple years out at least from having used any, and I'm sitting here and going like, what the actual fuck? What the actual fuck?
On weed, bro.
The only things you can now have are like hemp products, like the below 0.03% or whatever bullshit. Yes, we do in Texas have to verify our age to watch porn, correct?
We have to do that in Florida, but they've completely banned the hub. It's completely banned here. Even obviously
here.
They can't stop you if you have a VPN.
Okay. That's how it is here. Yeah, porn. So porn is banned without. Oh, you're saying even if you are an adult, they banned the hub and.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
Wait, you guys want to know the trick to that? Just use X.
And I won't.
Everything.
There's so much.
Everything you're gonna find on the hub is just on X anyway.
That's crazy though. Like, how is X getting an exemption? And I say that, but if they're saying they're
exclusively
stopping porn,
for adult content,
neither
the hub is exclusive.
Yeah. Pornhub.
Just because that one guy that one time in a video, like, nice guy compliments you at dinner doesn't.
Years ago, they reached out to me and asked if I wanted to start publishing Dear Mr. Atheist on the hub. So Pornhub is open to anybody.
Should we start co-streaming on the hub?
Start distributing on the hub? I don't know. The ads are aggressive, and I've never appreciated the ad. There was a period of time that it thought I was into granny stuff, and I'm not. Okay,
we can title videos like "Old MAGA gets dominated by BBCs." Yeah,
that would work. It is interesting that in Texas, if you change your VPN to Mexico, and you go to a site like that, it does try to serve you a lot of stuff with Latina in the title, and that actually doesn't make that much sense to me, because like it's not like in America it's like American gets real, white person like is the top trending stuff. It is interesting to me that I guess if you're in Mexico, you're looking for porn with Latina in the title. I don't know.
And I'm proud to be a Latina.
I always thought
at least I know I'm free.
It'd be much further objectified than that. I would have thought. Anyway, 336-543-2101, 336-543-2101. You can call in and debate. How'd you guys do on calls last hour? This one,
it was very slow for the first hour, then it picked up.
Okay.
Which is just what I'm noticing. Even when I did my own calls last night, it was like super slow for like an hour and a half, and then all of a sudden it picked up out of nowhere.
I will say, I think the change has been, maybe we need to, there are always times where you have slow days. It's been worse ever since we switched to doing a primary horizontal feed where the vertical goes out automatically but isn't findable. And I wonder if we need to wait until YouTube has refined that feature more and go out as an actual separate dedicated vertical stream.
Yeah.
Because it's been much worse.
That's what I honestly, probably. I mean, I told you when we had started doing it that I just didn't think it was where it needed to be.
Yeah. And I think we're taking a hit for it. 336-543-2101. The Bible is bad. If you were to ask people, if you took a civilization and they were trying to decide a moral system and you gave them the Bible to base it on, that would be a mistake. You would have a horrible, violent, and evil civilization. That is my assertion about the Bible. There are a great many ways to have a much better civilization. I don't know. Adam and Eve didn't exist. What else should we add to the debate menu? Why don't we get 10 topics on that scroller? It is too hot in this room right now.
What guys, listen. I want you guys to know something, okay? To all the conservatives sitting in chat listening to us right now. You're scared. And I get it. You don't want to admit that you no longer believe in Daddy Trump.
Yeah, that's been a problem too.
That's hard.
Yeah. We across the board, debate channels across the board, even the liberals, even the liberal people have struggled to get, especially quality callers, ever since Donald Trump has become absolutely indefensible, even to MAGA. Because
guys in chat who are coming to the debate on Tuesday, what are you going to call in and ask? Tell me now so I know what we're going to be debating about.
Wait, are the people we're debating this week in our chat right now?
No.
Oh, you're saying we should?
I'm saying none of their people are going to call in, so we're going to have to farm our people. I sure fucking hope so.
Yeah, we should probably let them know, like, hey, you guys are going to want to share it.
The one dude gets like 10 viewers.
I thought one of them did okay.
No, they both have genuinely terrible views platform-wise.
So this is just charity.
Yes.
Well, we got to warm up on something.
I thought the other one was our warm-up. The slaughtering? You don't remember?
Well, that was more of a warm-up for the app. To identify what we needed for that app, which I've been refining and fixing since then, and I actually started putting actual harder work on it last night. That was more to see if the structure would fail, and we did figure out, like, having the clarifying question round is just dumb. Don't worry about that. Just rebuts.
Yeah.
Just even 90 seconds each time, so it's not confusing. All that kind of shit. Yeah,
someone in the chat said, "Where there make a wish."
Okay.
It's going to be an interesting ride. Jimmy's got me booked up this month.
I mean, good.
Yeah, I looked at the schedule. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Huh?
Also switch schedules. Also, be on the lookout. We are going to be announcing our next Secular Student Alliance fundraiser. It's looking like September 19th. We were going to do it the week before, but I felt that September 12th would mean that we were doing our Golden Mic Night on September 11th. And then the Thursday show and the lead up would be on September 10th. I don't know if you guys remember Well, first of all, September 10th is my anniversary, and I'd like to celebrate it with my partner. It's also a different anniversary. You want to hit the soundboard? September 10th.
For what?
What's the anniversary of September 10th? Exactly. I can't believe it's not been a whole year yet.
Start over. I like that it doesn't start over. So like throughout the show, we can just listen to more and more of the song.
You can change that, but yeah. Sorry, dear. I don't know where the bug burner is. I've seen it recently though, so it might be on the side table by my side of the bed.
I found it.
Okay, good. 336-543-2101, 336-543-2101. I think I'm gonna walk out in the cool air for a minute and let you have solo. I'm like overheating in here. I might need to change the shorts. I'm wearing pants for some reason.
All right, now Jimmy's gonna go. So let's get all the calls that we're waiting to call about AI.
That will hurt my feelings.
Jimmy's not here. Just pick up the phone, guys. Call in 336-543-2101. Debate me about whatever. Why don't I just start saying shit? Black people can't be racist. Abolish police and prisons. What else we got? What else do we got? Capitalism is unethical. What else? I'm trying to think of my most outrageous takes. Iran is justified. Most countries are justified in hatred towards the U.S. The United States should end. What else? How all religion is dumb, but especially Christianity. What do we think so far? Did I drop enough crazy? Do we think? I don't know. Thoughts? Oh yeah, abortion all 9 months. 100% abortion all 9 months. Jesus was not only gay, but trans. No forgiveness for MAGA regrets. And I disagree. I do forgive people who become class conscious. 336-543-2101. Iran has a right to defend itself. Yeah, Israel shouldn't exist. That would be a fun one. Yep, sexual health education for all grades. Oh, okay. So Jimmy can't stand up. That's what he's telling us.
I mean, I've got briefs on. Boxer briefs. What are the briefs with the long legs called? Not like tighty whities where they cut up like a thong. I'm talking like they go halfway down my thigh.
Oh, I thought you were like telling us you were wearing like long johns.
No. It's 100 degrees outside right now. I'm not even joking. It's like, well, I think it's 96, and then our index is like 10 something.
Oh, Emily, when I tell you the most annoyed I will ever be right now is with Spirit Halloween in bingling this Five Nights at Freddy's drop. I did not get a Freddy, and I don't think I'm ever going to get a Freddy because most places got like one in stock, and they're not even allowed to sell it till the end of the season. So I've given up my dreams of the 6 foot tall Five Nights at Freddy's animatronic. If one of you sees it out in public, a purchasable one, DM me immediately. I will pay for it and pay to have it shipped.
That's so funny.
I'm so upset, dude. Feels like? I was at Spirit Halloween at 8 a.m. in line, and they were like, yeah, we only got one in stock, and it was a floor model, and we can't sell that till later. I'm like, hey, would have been great for you to tell people that, since, you know, people really wanted this thing. I was third in line, too.
Not you lining up for like a fucking, like it's the opening of the Spider-Man movie.
100%.
Like it's the release of Pokemon cards.
Did you see Spider-Man yet?
No, I assure you, I'm going to soon, but
hurry up.
I feel like I'm dodging bullets right now, just trying to dodge spoilers.
I dropped it to an 8 after sitting with it. Still good, but I'm dropping it to an 8.
Eve, you have to absolutely drop this weird fucking obsession you have. Eve, in America, most people in hot areas have air conditioners. So there's this person who she says it like every episode, like, oh, but did you see that, Jimmy was flexing about having air conditioning the other day. That's in America. It is. We aren't Europe. If we didn't have air conditioners, your guys' is already high death count. Ours would be way higher. Way higher. So air conditioning here is a normal thing. It's kind of like being in the Netherlands and thinking that I'm flexing by saying I have a car, because a lot of people in the Netherlands rely on public transit. But having a car is normal and necessary for everyday living. So this like every show coming to be like, and Jimmy flexes about having an air conditioner. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. In America, saying you have an air conditioner, poor and rich have air conditioners here. There are places that don't have them that should have them. Don't get me wrong. But in Texas, not. I mean, pretty much everybody, like pretty much all the time.
In Florida, if you didn't have an AC in your house, you would die.
No, Eve, it wasn't the comment section one time. It was literally the live chat last time. You literally said to another person, oh, you didn't see Jimmy flexing about his AC the other day? It is a weird obsession you have. Now trying to pretend it's only been this time is crazy. You gotta let that go. It's just normal shit here. Anyway, 336-543-2101. 336-543-2101. Capitalism sucks. The Republicans are terrible leaders. They have ruined the country. Like, legitimately, the Democrats haven't helped, but the Republicans have... It's not even that Republicans are bad. It's that they are trying to destroy the country, make it impossible for the country to succeed for everybody. They only want the country to succeed for a very select few. The end goal of the GOP and conservatism has always been fascism.
I want to address a comment. I don't like Five Nights at Freddy's because I think it's scary. Just saying.
I wonder, this will be interesting. Do you have AC? Now, here's the I'm going to including swamp coolers and evap coolers. That's the same thing, but some people know them as one. And I'm going to make yes, America, or yes, USA, no, USA. Because it would be interesting to know. I know that there are definitely places built in the... Because I lived in Wyoming. I had a place that had no air conditioning, and it needed it. Didn't even have a swamp cooler. I lived in a couple of places like that, actually. And then, yes, other, no, other. It'll be interesting to see what the breakdown is.
And I'm proud. Do you see, real quick, I'm going to pull a Donald Trump. Did you see how good I did my... Rubik's Cube?
That is not a finished cube. Oh, right. But it's the cube you wanted. You know, people, they're always doing the orange on one side, red on another side. You know, this is the exact pattern I was aiming for. And a lot of people are saying that this is better because you get a little bit of everything on each side. A little bit. You get a little bit of everything on every side. And that's what we really want. We want a little bit of everything.
If I can get the orange to all be orange and the yellow to all be yellow, will it kind of look like Donald Trump?
Kinda, yeah. With his shirt off.
Oh, I didn't want
that. Put the orange above the yellow.
I didn't want that. I didn't want that image in my mind.
We carry the flame. 336-543-2101.
I stop it soon enough so we don't get hit with a strike.
Yeah. Well, can that be copyrighted if it was AI? Oh my God.
YouTube's hit me with the song, so I've learned that you only play like less than 3 seconds of it and you're fine.
That's insane, though. I think that means somebody is artificially putting those claims out.
Dude, you can claim anything. I could claim videos on the Lines channel having not any association with the ownership of the Lines content.
What do you mean you don't? Again, you are just lying about whether or not you've said it other places even. I don't care. But what do you mean you don't need them? Of course you need them. And it was
Guys, this is why we need callers.
What was the weird flex?
Because Jimmy's going to debate the comments. We need calls.
I know. I'm like, this is so fucking dumb. By the way, I can go pull that comment section. You had said that it was over 40 degrees. It wasn't. It had never been over 100 degrees Fahrenheit in Britain at the time. And we were pointing out that I was making jokes about how British people will say Americans couldn't handle British heat waves when their heat waves start at like 86 degrees. And we're right now sitting at 100 degrees today here. And so and it is central air conditioner. My central air conditioner is working, and yet it's still too hot in this house because of global warming. Did you see, by the way, there's been recent research published that we are our climate change is accelerating and we're basically fucked.
Is that the one? I mean, to be fair, they do put out like a new report every year, basically going, we've hit the threshold. And I'm like, we've hit that threshold like 10 times. I just expect to be dead in 20 years.
Okay, here's what I wrote. The high today is 83. You aren't going to have above 87 in the next 10 days. So when is this well above 100? Just checked. You haven't broken 100 a single day in 2026, and you've broken it 90 out of 10 times. This doesn't mean I don't feel for you without AC, but I was correct. Did you misinterpret what that meant? Because I was literally saying, because you don't have air conditioner, I still feel for you. If you had air conditioners, 86 degrees, 87 degrees would not be a big deal as a heat wave goes. And because you don't have them, I still feel for you. So is this whole time the AC thing isn't really a flex anywhere in Europe, doll? Literally, without AC was referring to that I still think your heat is unbearable because you don't have AC. Jesus Christ. Yes, of course I understand. Charlotte, God, comment sections are so fucking disappointing. Of course I understand that places have different feels of heat. Cold isn't the same in every place either. It's called the fucking, what is it? The humidity index, and that's what causes that. The amount of humidity in the air changes how you actually feel it. It's also relative to skin color. I am more heat intolerant than Jovan as a baseline. That can change for both of us. Mine is actually worse than other white people's because of a medical condition. But as a baseline, white people have lower heat intolerance to people with any color in their skin. Literally, the less melanin you have, the more heat intolerance you have too. So of course that is understood. We're talking about England versus Texas. England is very humid. And by the way, what
angers me about the weather?
Yeah.
That when it says 40% of chance of rain, it doesn't mean that there's a 40% chance it will rain that day. It means that there's a 100% chance it'll rain on 40% of the area.
Yes, it is. It is misleading. Also to people, so that now there's a lot of people saying like the heat is different. I don't know if you're trying to defend me or not. I tried to get them off
of the chat. I tried.
It's not. Well, do you know this? Statistically, more people die in Europe every year from heat deaths than guns in America. So it's a bad problem.
So what you're saying is we don't need gun control.
What I'm saying is we need to shoot the heat. We need to load the heat into guns.
The heat's coming right for us.
Get it. Bah, 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 bah. The heat so in fact, in Europe, it is bad. The heat problem in Europe is bad and is literally killing people. Put shade on your AC unit. Yes, if you have an outdoor condenser, try and have it in the shade as much as you can.
I wonder if that would help me. Sometimes my house is set to like 72, but it's still like 78.
During the week of the heat waves where people were complaining, it was literally 86, 87. If you're saying where you're at in the UK is hitting 95, I feel you. Okay, we legitimately, do we have a, we'll let the screener go ahead and check that call out. We'll see.
I hope so. I'm legit
I'll argue with you guys on the weather
over here.
Because I'm talking too much about the weather.
I mean, you know the show is going downhill when we start debating weather.
Well, you know, I got to argue with somebody today. I got to get it out of my system.
But I wonder whether we should support our boy.
I mean,
when I hang out with my friends' TikTok debates, we now to talk shit about like shitty guests. We tell them that they're kirking out.
Can you believe it's only been 10 months?
Yeah, feels like forever.
Hey, if you're going to call in and wait, is somebody here complaining about Yeah, I don't really care about... Where is it? Lithium, who is it in there? I don't actually see the comment.
What?
Okay, they tagged you in a comment. I guess one of the people mad about that Durante drama bullshit's in the live chat, or is complaining, and I was just going to be like, just call in. I don't fucking care if you want to whine in live chat. You don't actually exist until you call in. For all I know, you're the people who are the problem. I don't know.
We are Charlie Kirk.
I wonder if one of the mods had already popped his thing out, because I don't see him at all. What happened to that caller? I thought that Republican was queuing
They're going to
up.
call right back. They had a bad connection.
Oh, okay.
How are you, Luthien?
She probably doesn't want to talk too much because she's having a weird mic feedback issue.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I hear double every time I talk. It's very annoying.
And we couldn't figure out why. It's not in its normal style. It has something to do with wavelength. Probably just the PC needs reset.
I'm sure it's Jimmy's fault.
Always. It was my fault you were 5 minutes late today.
I was actually 10 minutes early.
Weird, because the show at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock had nobody on it. That chair was empty.
You should have started.
That chair was empty. We did.
I was making a peanut butter sandwich.
I did start. I opened the store without you.
And
We
I
both
can't
worked
walk
at Verizon. I feel like we could be doing this in Verizon terms, so it'd be funny. I did. I literally I went in the back. I pulled our IMEIs and got our stock into the...
Let me tell you, I worked at a
long.
store that had no traffic, dude. We just sat on our iPads watching movies all day.
We did that until basically corporate came and was like, hey, you guys can't be watching movies or sitting anymore.
We weren't a corporate store, so I didn't give a fuck.
The first one I worked in wasn't either. They were like, you guys gotta, maybe the reason people aren't coming in is you don't look approachable. I'm like, okay. And they
couldn't even see. There was I would be sitting in chairs that if you walk through the door, you'd have to turn to see the chairs. You couldn't see them from the windows of the door. So I'd be sitting there. So when people would walk in, they'd be like, is anyone here? And I would just stand up like, yeah, I'm right here. I'll sit in the comfy chairs watching a show.
Now, whenever anybody says anything, I'm going to accuse them of flexing. Why are you flexing about eating peanut butter? I can't have peanut butter. What's with this flex? What's with the peanut butter flex?
Ugh. We are Jimmy Kirk.
We're having callers call in and drop and then not call back. And then this guy's definitely a joke. I'm not even going to bother with it.
Today has been a day. Wow.
Yeah, we're having a rough day.
I'm also not simul streaming today.
We have 1,700 people here. I love you, buddy, but we should be able to get a call on our own at this point.
But it's crazy that all 1,700 agree with us
and have stuck around for. Please don't leave now that I'm pointing out you've stuck around for some bullshit.
Hey, why don't 1,700 of you listen to The Lion Has a Podcast? We sure didn't have 1,700 people watching the show on Sunday.
That's true. That's true. Thursday, but that's true.
Sorry,
we'll
today
definitely try and see y'all tomorrow.
Jesus.
Okay, the first part was a joke, but I guess he has an actual point to make. I'm always very suspicious of white foreigners, so that there are going to be actual calls. Let's find out, though. Wanna Unca? Don't you wanna Unca? You're on the line with Jimmy and Jovan. How are you, Unca?
Oh yeah, hi. I don't really have a point. I just see you don't have a guest, so I kind of jumped in. I'm Russian. And I'm sorry for electing Trump in your country. We kind of did an oopsie a couple of years ago, and now you're just working with it now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I appreciate that. What it says here, you're economically conservative. What does that mean?
Yeah, capitalist.
Why?
That's kind of it. I think it's a kind of good system so far. It works. It has its flaws, but good enough.
Where does it work?
Basically everywhere in the world so far. I don't know.
How much would a single individual, like a single person in a world of 8 billion or in a country of, let's say, 350 million, how much would he have to, or she have to accrue in personal wealth before you would go, oop, nope, cap, and it looks like we'll only accrue more before you would feel like that's a sign capitalism actually failed?
I don't know if like a person gathering money is actually a problem with like capitalism or any other system.
Is there a limited amount of resources that money represents?
Yeah, kind of, maybe, but is there really, like, we can probably do a lot more.
I don't know what that we can probably do a lot more is. If a lot of people, or if a small amount of people have most of the resources, and then a tiny amount of the resources are meant to be split between the remaining, 345 million of them? Would that be a sign of an economic system that you think succeeds?
I don't think that's the only criteria that we should measure economic success of the system, but also like how it's generally like distributes the like what other people can do with the stuff, you know? Because me as a person who kind of from the country that we're trying communism, for example, that's kind of not really a good system.
I'm sorry, where do you think is trying communism? Russia?
Yeah, in Soviet Union.
Do you not know what communism is?
Communism is an ideology that includes like a
aren't you 20?
Markets, a specific market.
Yeah,
no,
I'm getting like big time troll feels that somebody's calling from Moscow.
But that's the problem. Like they put me as a conservative. I'm not really a conservative.
Wait. Even at 28, why did you say you're from a country like the Soviet Union had fallen well before you were born? You've never lived.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know, but I learned about it in school, and I'm around people who talk about it and know about it, and my father, my like my grandparents are. Yeah.
Anka, let me ask you a question. Do you think that singular individuals should hold arbitrary power over productive means?
Wait, can you say it again, but like a little bit different, because I don't really understand this one.
Should an individual hold ultimate power over control of somebody's resources, whether that's housing, food, water,
maybe not
jobs?
Maybe not ultimate. Yeah, ultimate sounds kind of bad.
Well, that's capitalism grants that.
Yeah, but like everything in moderation, you know. Like we can do capitalism with
out of that
with some good social policies.
How do social policies fix whether or not somebody has the control over the resources?
With probably some like good taxes, you know?
Taxes wouldn't fix that. If I own a fresh water source and can sell somebody water, I get to decide how much that water costs, right?
Yeah, true. But in ideal situation, you would not hold like monopoly.
Water to.
Yeah, for sure. But in ideal situation of capitalism with like some social policies, you would not be a monopoly on water.
They've never existed. What you're describing has never existed ever. A capitalist
but it doesn't matter about the monopoly.
Right.
The monopoly doesn't even matter because there is always somebody who holds that control. Even if it's 3 people, that's still a small number of individuals who hold the control over everybody else, right?
Yeah, sure. But like, what do you propose? What's the solution is going to be better?
If this is ethical, do you think this is an ethical framework to build
a
society?
not really. The framework that you're kind of painting, like it's not really good society. Like I would not like to live under this society.
So then you agree?
That's why I'm leaning more left. Not really, because like technically it's neutral by itself. But like you can moderate this stuff. That's why I asked like what would be your proposal.
Is it neutral, Anka? Is it neutral to create a system in which that power is just given to somebody, whether or not they use that power for good or not? Is that a neutral system that just grants individuals the power over productive resources necessary for survival?
not really, but like that's how you paint this. Like,
then
okay,
capitalism is inherently unethical because capitalism is about private ownership, which grants people arbitrary power over productive means of survival. That's all capitalism is. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Also, what you've described about if you do it right and it's you use social programs to limit it or whatever, all we've ever seen through history is you might implement a social program to improve the condition, never fix. It never fixes the problem. It improves it. You take credit for the improvement, and then those with disproportionate resources use their excess to chip away at the things preventing them from getting more and more. So it is a cycle that you just get stuck in over and over again. And the difference is every time capitalism fails, there are other capitalist interests who make sure that we don't throw it out. The Great Depression wasn't the end of capitalism in America, even if it should have been. But when it comes to socialism, the threshold by which where socialism is getting thrown out with the bathwater is at a much lower bar, and people are still maintaining that socialism has failed even in systems that weren't actually socialist.
Yeah, sure, but like, what would be your proposal? Like, because so far, every time we try to do socialism anywhere in the world, like it fails all the time. So, like, what's the proposal?
And so far, every time we've ever tried to do capitalism anywhere in the world, it fails also. And we have never,
but not really.
We have never tried actual socialism post solving some of the biggest problems with past socialism, which is proximity, which no longer exists. The ability to actually distribute and handle the needs of everybody in an entire country. We didn't in the past have the infrastructure, both in a literal taking things to places, as well as the communication infrastructure. It used to be too much to be able to communicate issues, detect issues, and so every time where people are like, yeah, well, socialism never worked. Yeah, and combustion never worked when you added it to a horse. But then the day when instead of adding combustion to a horse, you added it to a metal box, we replaced horses. So combustion, up to that point, terrible method of traveling. You never want to travel with combustion. It'll explode your horse. But now we have technology and resources that everything you can say may have been an issue before, organizing at a national level, all of those things don't currently exist. So you don't actually have an example of well-tried socialism, first of all, and a country strong enough to actually make that transition and not be undermined or destroyed by a country who is capitalist and doesn't want to see that end, doesn't want to see the end of that superpower. In fact, America would be the best country to make that transition for having that pre-existing power.
Yeah, maybe. Like, you can try. Like, my country already tried it one time. It's not really a good experience for people.
No, it didn't. And my country keeps trying capitalism, and it keeps failing, and we keep holding on to it. I just described to you the difference between what you are saying you tried and today, and the solutions, and the fucking fact that you are ignoring so many things that at the time weren't considered a fault of capitalism. When famines hit capitalist country, that's just famine. And, you know, it'll bounce back, but sure, some people will die and be poor along the way. When it hits a socialist country, that's a much bigger deal. Much bigger deal.
Also, I just want to reiterate, like, your country wasn't communist. Like, specifically, it had never reached that stage.
USSR was communist country.
No, they had communist leaders, but the country itself had never reached communism.
What country was the USSR?
Okay.
What country was the USSR?
Okay, I think so.
Sure. What country was the USSR?
What do you mean, what country?
Yeah, what country was it?
What do you mean? I don't understand this question. Like, what was it?
What country? What country is the United States of America?
You mean? Wait, I'm not trolling. I'm really just don't understand the question.
The answer is the question.
Oh, okay.
The USSR wasn't stateless. Did the USSR have a state?
USSR had states, yeah.
A state. Did the USSR, not states like states in America, was the USSR a state?
What do you mean by state? Like, I'm sorry, I just don't really understand what you're asking.
America is a state.
America itself? Like,
correct.
The whole place?
Countries are states also. You understand the different use of these words?
Okay.
We're not talking about the subsystems within them. Did the USSR, was the USSR a state? And did it possess within it states?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
So can a communist country have a state?
Probably. Why not?
Well, because the definition of communism includes stateless.
Oh, is it? Interesting.
What is the definition of communism?
You tell me.
I'm interested to know first what you think it is, since you've been using the word like you know what it is. So how have you been using the word?
Yeah, but I don't really care about like talking about definitions of the words.
No,
here.
I do, because you've been using the word.
I don't really disagree with you.
You've been using the word, and you have been claiming it was communist. And if the reason you're doing it is because you are using the definition incorrectly, that now needs to be established.
Sure, then enlighten me. I would love to learn.
After you tell me how you were using it, so you can enlighten me on what the framing or what the context of your previous statements were, so I can reframe things you've said.
Wait, but I want to learn from you right now,
and
like I kind of agree with what you're saying. So I'm kind of like I acknowledge that I might not know a lot of
what
the
definition
stuff,
you were using.
So
it will help me to better explain it to you to know where your baseline was. That's how corrections are made.
My baseline is just my experience and experience people around me. Like,
I'm not baseline of the meaning of the word communism. The definition of communism, what definition were you operating out of?
Does it really matter if you think that I'm wrong and you have the right definition?
Yes. If a person comes to me and they tell me that they think water doesn't boil by heat, it helps me to better explain to them knowing what they think is doing it instead than it does to just tell them how water boils. You have fundamentally made a mistake, which I would like to correct, which you are being very defensive about not wanting to admit. What I think is going to be, if you say your definition, you're worried it's a really, really bad one.
But didn't I earlier said that just like communism is just political and economic system? Like, no?
That doesn't define the economic system. Then by your definition, capitalism and communism are the same thing.
No, not really. It's just part of the definition.
If your definition is a political ideological system, then there are several words that are not communism that meet that definition. So please just tell me what it was before. We probably can go we probably can go into like some like classless society, probably in like definition of a communism and something else like around this stuff. But like you probably like at least like you think. I hope you are more educated than I am on this topic. So like I kind of ask you to educate me. I'm trying to, and you're desperately trying to not be embarrassed that you didn't know. Communism, you are right, is a political and economic ideology. I'm giving you the answer now, Anka. I'm giving it to you now, Anka. It is indeed a political and economic ideology.
I don't know why you're straw-manning me.
It is okay, great. Then to avoid strawmanning you, I now will not be answering the definition until you give me yours, because if I don't hear your definition, you've now invoked strawman. The only way to rectify a strawman is to let you represent again and for me to adopt it. So thank you for invoking strawman.
Yeah,
please give me your definition.
Are you for real?
Please give me your definition, Anka, so I will not strawman you. Great.
I literally told you that I might not know this stuff, and I'm happy to be educated on it.
And now you're accusing me of strawmanning, so I will need you to correct.
Yeah, because you strawman me because you said that
prevent me from strawmanning you by telling me your definition of communism.
Yeah, like I said, my definition of communism gonna include something like probably like a classless society or something.
Okay, and that is an extremely limited definition. But now I ask, was the USSR, and by the way, it's not correct. Classless is just one thing. It would also be stateless, and then the most important part would be who owns the means of production. In a communist society, who owns the means of production? Do you know?
That's a big thing. Yep, the workers. Yeah. In the communist.
Sure, the non-workers would own it too. You know, disabled people and stuff would say, basically everyone. It is about common ownership.
I'm probably more talking about like Leninism stuff then.
In communism,
I think
how are things distributed? According to
is it just like shared amongst everyone by like
according to need, according to necessity? They are not distributed to maximize profits or to increase ownership. So, Luthien, people in the chat are just saying the collar's a little bit too high. If you'll just bring them down a couple of decibels. So now, you said your definition was classless. Was the USSR classless?
They were saying they are, but not really.
I don't even know if they said that they were pursued toward perhaps the goal, but I don't think the USSR ever claimed that they had achieved classlessness.
They technically had like 2 classes as what they were teaching most of the time, or like, well, maybe technically 3, like basically like workers, non-workers, and the party. Like that's how you can see it.
Who was the nomenclatura?
Yeah, the
nomenclatura. I don't know how to say it right. Give it to me in Russian. How do you say nomenclatura in Russian?
Nomenclatura.
Okay, and what is that?
Nomenclatura. Yeah, that's basically like a ruling class.
Right. So it wasn't. So even by your definition, earlier you claimed, and I'm just getting this clear because you said I strawmanned you. You claimed that the USSR was communist, and you then told us that your definition was a political ideology that was classless. And now you have acknowledged that they weren't classless.
They claim that they go towards it, and they claim that they don't have classes and stuff.
Okay, but, so whether their goal was, Jovan and I are still capitalist in practice every day, despite the fact that we are socialists in ideology. Because we are literally participating in it, and we don't have a choice. Your claim was that we tried communism. We tried socialism. No, we didn't. In your own claim, we tried heading that way, but we didn't actually get there. And in fact, most of the reason why it seems like we didn't get there was the fault of that very same. No, I wasn't done with my question, my statement. And the nomenclatura was a big part of the reason why we didn't achieve it in the USSR, meaning that the thing that you said would be what you call communist not being achieved is why it was never communist.
Yeah, sure, but like,
it's in the name.
That's kind of the problem with this system, is because they usually just like fell off because of what they are doing. Because like they try to do it, but they attract people who are greedy and who are like trying to grab as much wealth as they can.
They didn't try to do it if they never did a classless society. If the class, if the ruling class is why it failed, then you can't say they tried to do it because they never tried for classlessness. Go ahead.
It's a bit frustrating when people say, hey, we shouldn't do a socialism because greedy people are always going to try to get power. Instead, let's do the economic system that quite literally hands greedy people the keys to the world.
In the USSR, what percentage of the people chose the representatives?
I have no idea. Probably not a lot.
1%. It might have been 1.5%.
The USSR was not democratic.
True. And so now you're also trying to make a case that there was a non-democratic state with classes that counts as communist.
Good luck. Wait, is communism inherently democratic?
It is.
I just don't know. Maybe it is.
It is.
I don't know.
Yes, it is.
Interesting. Because in history, it's
how do you participate in owning the means of production if you have no say over them?
Wait, what? Say it again.
How do you participate in collective ownership if you have no say over them?
Don't know, but isn't if the government itself kind of decides what to do with the production?
What is the government?
What was produced? No.
What is the government?
Some people.
Yeah, the ruling body.
I go.
So if you don't get to pick who your representatives are at the very least, you aren't actually having a say in this thing that you allegedly have collective ownership of.
Yeah, but like that's kind of the thing. Like, can you tell me how it can work? Like how it would work? How you go towards this type of stuff? Because I don't see how it's going. And every time I see it in a
Jovan, do you think you would need 6 minutes or 8 minutes to give him the robust Engels, Marx, Lenin, and then all the more modern theory all break down into just a short quip of how you and I, who are mostly communicators, would fix it? Like maybe 7 minutes?
You can do it in 7? I mean, probably. I can do it in 4, but I'm built different.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'll give you to Jovan to explain what literally has to be built on hours to days to weeks of, and a lot of people coming up with it to explain in 4 minutes, how do we make that transition happen? Or you could go read a book.
I just, my biggest contention that I don't understand, you agree with us, Anka, that it is bad when a small percentage of the population is put into power over the rest of the population, right? You agree with that?
Yeah, mostly.
So why do you vibe for a system that directly gives us that?
Because it also gives the ability to people like you who understand what should be done.
I don't care what it gives to me when 75% of the world lives in the global south. Wait, who cares what it gives to me? Most of the world isn't living the life I live. 75% of the world lives in the global south.
Yeah, but wait, have you heard what I said? Like, I
Yes.
wasn't talking about like you specifically, like personally you. I was talking about you and like your community that you're building.
And I'm talking about the fact that 75% of the world does not live this way. They live in the global south.
Okay, so like what we can do?
Well, they live in the global south because capitalism has to extract their resources.
Yeah, but
because you allow for a system.
Like, I understand that's what they're living.
Move to a, like, we can abolish private property.
And what it's going to give?
What would it give?
Yeah.
It would give us socialism and remove the ability for singular people to claim ownership over productive means. Therefore, it would remove their ability to extract wealth from the global south and people in lower classes.
Okay. Do you see it like it can be done just on one country alone, or it needs to be done like on a world, like at a world scale, basically?
These things would need to be done globally if we want to see actual material change happening to the labor class.
Yeah, I agree.
Because places like the United States spend a lot of money and kill a lot of people to make sure capitalism never goes away.
And right now we are heading toward a stakes of, you can sit there and go, it sounds complicated and I don't know how we would do it. If we don't, way more people will die than ever in history because of the ends that we are headed toward right now with automation, AI, climate change, which is being driven further by automation and AI. We currently have, if you aren't rich, the next century is probably going to fucking bone you unless we get something more like socialism. So whether or not you think it's worked in the past or not.
Next century? This century
yes,
as
this
well.
century. This century. I was using it in the next Saturday sort of style. This century. By the way, if you watch my other shit, I'm not worried about it just this century. I'm worried about it this decade, the beginnings of it, as we've already had it begin, and then certainly next decade. Century is a century from now. We will look back and either admire the solutions we came up with, or lament all of the death. And you and I will likely be amongst the dead. And not from
probably.
Old age.
At the same time, like, we kind of agreed that, like, socialism gonna work only on the global scale, right? Like, you can't do it locally.
Socialism can still work better than capitalism. No. Socialism can't work ultimately on anything but the global scale, but it can still work better than capitalism. So it wouldn't be a reason to not, at the very minimum, be heading towards socialism now, because these are our choices. Capitalism has failed. You are currently looking at a state of capitalistic failure, but mistaking the success of the people like Elon Musk, Tim Cook, Mark Zuckerberg as signs it succeeded, because it succeeded so dramatically for them, because in capitalism, you don't actually measure the state, the quality of life of the people. You measure the quality of life of the privileged. Capitalism is currently failed.
I don't even care about
failed
them.
now.
Like,
and so we have to get better than this.
Because of the capitalism by people like you, because capitalism allows you to build the platform you have right now, and
socialism is when no
platforms
platforms.
And gather a community that you like.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah,
If
sure.
Anka, if YouTube decided tomorrow to nuke Jimmy's channel, what would happen to Jimmy's livelihood?
Probably he would get like a big hit, but at the same time,
why would he get a big hit?
Just like go to another platform, because
why would he take a big hit, Anka? Why would he take a big hit if YouTube decided to nuke his channel? Why would he take a big hit?
I assume that he gets a lot of pay from like ads and like super subs or whatever, like how they called, and donations. But maybe not. Maybe he's actually have like another platform like Patreon or something.
Hey, Anka, I'm right here. You could ask me.
And, like,
I'm right here. Anka, I'm here.
Yeah, but
you could ask me.
I know I can ask you, but he asking me to make this
he
thing.
Didn't ask you to speculate on things.
I made my thing.
He didn't ask you to speculate on the state of things that you could just ask about. So you're going off in a crazy fucking way. By the way, Jimmy, the reason he asked you about me is not only am I here as a YouTuber, I own this channel and the company that is above it, which also owns The Line. 30 people work at The Line for me or with me, whichever direction you want to take it. So it's not just me. It is everybody here getting fucked. Our annual revenue is more, excuse me, I'm not done. Our annual revenue is at least, I would put 65 to 70% directly from YouTube. The remaining 30% comes from people who want to literally support what we distribute to YouTube. So even that new place, for example, Patreon, we can't do a call-in show on Patreon because only our people who are paying to be there would get the live show. Nobody would call it. And so for a live call-in debate platform, not having distribution on basically the monopoly for live shows of this type would destroy not just my livelihood, my partner's livelihood, Arden's livelihood, and a few others who I'm not going to name, but because I'm not going to admit which ones are mostly making the money here versus elsewhere.
I'm going to just say what the answer is, because Anka didn't seem to be able to. The reason why Jimmy's livelihood would be fucked if YouTube decided to tank his channel for a good while, I don't doubt that Jimmy couldn't rebuild, but for a good while his livelihood would be tanked and fucked, is because he doesn't own productive means. The owner of the productive means of which we use is Google. Google decides whether we get paid. Do you think if Google said to us tomorrow, hey guys, all of your checks for the month, all of your live payouts on pause. We just can't pay them out right now. They're on pause for the next 2 months. we don't have any say in this. We have quite literally no recourse in this. We just have to accept it. We are contractors for YouTube. We get 1099s from Google. We don't own the productive means.
They change rates and we don't get a vote on it. They add new features and then they decide. There's no community input on. They literally added memberships to compete with Patreon. Patreon, after everything, including taxes and shit, takes like 12% before they send it to us. YouTube starts at like 30.
They already
and that's 12. How much they know they have a monopoly on it.
So again, me and Jimmy aren't like engaging in capitalism. We're still laborers. Now we're laborers who sit at a place of privilege over a lot of other laborers, right? We got lucky in the content game that we get to have that little bit of privilege, that we are laborers who get to decide our hours in things like that. But if YouTube nuked me tomorrow, I'm fucked. Like, I can start a new channel and hopefully it will grow. You can start new. It depends on why they nuke you.
If they nuked you the way they nuked Alex Jones, channels that then tried to platform Alex Jones also got deleted.
Yeah, it would just depend on the reason for your deletion. But like I said, you're screwed. You no longer have that revenue stream, and you not like. So when we talk about why it's unethical for somebody to own productive means, right, is because they have the say over whether or not multiple people eat. YouTube has that say.
Is Billy Kid 01 in chat the same as Billy the Kid? Because there ain't no way he's saying the same dumb shit. In response to what you're saying, Joe, in response to what you're saying, Billy Kid is literally saying Jimmy can be a woodworker, at least temporarily. I'm not able to be a woodworker right now because I'm recovering from a fucking car wreck. I haven't been able to do it. We were starting that channel and the car wreck. And then maybe photographer again, photography starting now after years of not having clients and shit. You are describing something that both cases would cost to get started, and woodworking, unless you are a content creator, is basically not sustainable except for a short number of people. So I don't know whose side you were trying to come in on that, Billy Kid, but that was very wrong. I would not be okay if YouTube arbitrarily decided to take everything down.
Not even take down. If they just decided to start suppressing the channel.
Yeah, nuke the... Yeah.
They don't even have to take you down.
Nuke
they can just stop pushing you in the algorithm.
Yep.
By the way, I applied. I'm applied for that YouTube partner manager thing back when they had it. So, but they were like, applications will be reviewed and we'll let people know in like October.
Never heard it. Hey, that's not true. I don't get triggered by trolls always. I've been ignoring other dumb people in chat. I just pick one in every 10. I saw you, Miro. Miro said some dumb shit earlier too.
Well, listen, right. Anka, we have a bunch of people now in the queue and an hour left in the show, so we're going to move on.
As is always the case.
Okay. Can I say the last thing before you kick me?
Sure.
Is it going to be that you were never actually Russian?
No, I am Russian.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
The thing is, like, I'm sorry for answering the question, Jovan? I'm sorry. Hard name for me. I'm sorry for answering your question instead of just asking Jimmy what's going to happen to him, because I thought it's like more light question you're asking.
No, you are reframing this totally dishonestly, Anka. You weren't answering the question. You were speculating on states of things that might be, so it might be okay. Instead of answering the question, you were like, well, I want the answer to he'd be okay, so I'll speculate some I don't knows and make up some reasons it might be okay. That's not answering the question. That's just making shit up. And you could have, instead of making shit up, if that was important to your answer, gone, okay, well, Jimmy's here. Jimmy, do you have a strong second platform? Do you have whatever the shit that you were talking about was? Instead, you were speculating on, I want to answer he'll be okay, so my point doesn't fail. So I'm going to override whatever the reality is with these speculations. That is not answering the question at all.
Yes, but I agree. That would be a better way to respond. At the same time, I kind of thought that like he's asking me for the speculation, and this can be like a language barrier because like I'm not really that good at English. I never learned it. So like that might be
if YouTube destroyed, if YouTube took down Jimmy's channel tomorrow, what would happen to Jimmy? In what world is that meant to be? Yes, there's speculation in that it's hypothetical, but literal like out of this if everything's lucky and all these things I don't know are true, and if my grandma had wheels, she'd be a bike level of answer speculation is crazy.
Personally, I don't necessarily care about any of this. I'd like to get to some of the other calls. Like we have somebody who's MAGA calling in. I'd like to get to the if we can.
Have a good one, Anka.
Yeah, go for MAGA for sure. Yeah.
Okay, bye.
I will say thank you, Anka, for calling in because it got us callers.
Got us started at least. John in Arizona, you're on the line with Jimmy and Jovan. John, let's do this thing.
Yeah, it's all my personal opinion. I fucking hate the left.
Okay.
I'm MAGA.
I hate the right. I mean, legitimately, as far as the ideology goes, I think you guys are fascist, genocidal maniacs. So now we got to find out who's right.
I don't hate every person on the left, but I think y'all are crazy. You're destroying Western civilization.
I hate every person. It's culture war nonsense.
Right, John. I think I think right wing. Who cares about? You're calling in to express how you feel about people. Let's talk about who's right, because what you're saying, I think about you. I think the right is fucking crazy. I think you hate people who are different to you. I think you are primarily bigoted, and you actually care more about setting policy based on who it will hurt than who it will help. I think you are bad people who don't understand science and would rather listen to a book that is fiction for advice than modern understanding and enlightenment on issues. So why do we talk about who we hate and what we feel about the others instead of actually getting down to actual issues and whether or not they solve problems for Americans?
I just think the easier thing to say is just like, what's going to destroy Western civilization quicker? The left pushing through social policies that like benefits like majority of people, or the right tanking the economy?
You have a pathological altruism. Sam Harris will call this moral confusion. Gadsden would say.
I don't care what Sam Harris would call. I don't care what I give two shits what Sam Harris would call it. Is the right tanking the economy right now, John? Yes or no?
Look, we're in massive debt anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yes, of course it
matters.
Okay.
So there's what it is. There's the answer. Like, yes, we are tanking the economy, but it doesn't matter that we're tanking the economy because we're in debt.
What I said.
Guarantee you it mattered to John when Biden was the I guarantee you any problem happening under Biden, it wasn't, we're in a ton of debt.
Since 1985, the debt has went from about $3 trillion to $40 trillion. It's both parties, okay?
Which president balanced the budget?
Clinton did.
Under which party does the debt always massively increase, and under which ones does the deficit increase, and under which party does it decrease?
There's probably been a little bit more debt under Republicans. That's fair.
No, not a little bit more. Massively more. They massively outspend and increase deficit. It's not a little bit more.
Jimmy, let's go through it.
Donald Trump added twice the amount to the deficit than Biden did.
Let's go through it, okay? Like Reagan, like around 1980, the debt was about $1 trillion. The Reagan and Bush years pushed it up to about $3 trillion. Clinton balanced it. President Bush 43 took it from about 5 to 10. Obama took it from about 10 to 20. Trump added about $3 trillion in his first term. Biden added about $6 trillion. Now Trump has added about another 3 or 4 trillion. So it's pretty close.
No, 3 or 4 trillion in 2 years. Not even 2 years.
Look, both parties have done it. Have the Republicans done a little more?
By the way, I'm not in either party, so I don't care. What I care about is the actual solutions, because you're still trying to sit here and make it about, you're trying to do meta commentary on the teams, and I give a shit. You're literally calling in saying you hate the left. What solution is a left solution that the right has a better answer for?
Look, if you want to do a specific topic, you want to debate the Russia-Ukraine conflict, you want to debate that, I can do that with you. I can tell you why I'm a Zionist. I can tell you about postmodernism.
Okay, so far as we're trying to central on America, you are mostly trying to go to other countries. Shit. Go ahead.
Shit.
No, I'm not.
Is this the piece of shit that called me uppity the other day?
Did you call Jovan uppity the other day?
Yes.
Do you think white people are better than black people?
Dicked. I thought that fucking voice sounded familiar.
There's just average differences in IQ. American black people have an average IQ of 85. It doesn't make anybody better or worse than others.
Let's say that the average black person has a lower IQ than the average white person in America. What's the reason?
It's a combination of environments, genetics, and culture. You believe in evolution, don't you, Jimmy?
Is it environment, genetics, and culture?
Sure. Yeah, like mental illness, like homosexuality, like complex human behavior is a combination of those.
God damn! I hope this person gets their dick cut off in a fucking tractor accident one day.
Hypothetically, John.
Oh, that's not.
I don't give a shit.
John, you're literally calling it. I don't even know when people get to this level of overt fascism. Like, what do you do when they become this overtly, obviously racist?
Jimmy.
When they become this obviously bigoted.
Hang on.
Like, I don't, and at the end of the day, the question you were asked originally was, what solution for Americans does the right have that's superior to the left solution? And you started talking about Israel and Zionism, so definitely not that one. Ukraine, we weren't even coming in on America. And then it turns out you used a traditionally racist term to describe my co-host a few days ago. Like, legitimately, John, I don't know what the point of the debate is. You're not interested in topics. You're only interested in culture war bullshit because you and your sister wife, and I don't mean in the Mormon way, I mean your wife is your sister, want to feel good together about, oh yeah, we sure made them N-words. We sure made them N-words feel dumb. Okay.
You're a fucking... Look.
That's cool, John. I've got a platform with tens of thousands. You have a beer. God has a plan.
Yeah, I'm not doing it for money, Jimmy. That's the difference between me and you.
No, I know you're not doing it for money. You are genuinely this piece of shit just down to your core.
Yeah, you're so... you believe it so much, and you're doing it for the money, but yet you hate capitalism. You're a fucking hypocrite, man.
Why am I a hypocrite for hating capitalism? How? Hey,
well, you see,
how would a person who wants capitalism to end in America do so without accruing capital?
Look, the communist. No,
not look. Answer my question. Nope, John. I will keep talking over you unless you're answering my question. How would a person in America who is in a capitalist country who wants to end capitalism participate in ending capitalism without accruing capital?
Ending capitalism without accruing capital.
Correct. If you did not have the power that comes with capital, how would you have a chance at ending capitalism in America?
What? So you don't want capitalism? Is that what you're saying?
Correct. I would like to end capitalism in America, and the question is, if I want to end capitalism in America, socialism. If I want to socialism, okay. Now you're going to answer my question. If I want to end, nope. If I want to end capitalism in America, how do I do so without capital?
Well, I don't think you can.
Correct. So a person who hates capitalism and wants to end it will only have a shot at ending capitalism if they first exist within the system and succeed at a level enough to gain influence, because in our post companies are people world, according to the Supreme Court, literally, you have to have a company with influence and money to have any shot of making political change, because that's how we built our structure. So with that being the reality you just identified, does a person with a company, even a company that is beginning to succeed, I am certainly not rich, is that person necessarily a hypocrite for then also being a socialist?
Yeah, I think you are a hypocrite, man, because That
wasn't your question. I didn't ask whether you think I'm a hypocrite. I asked you and you were trying to do all meta before, but now when your shit's crumbling, you can't. Is a person who wishes for a socialist outcome in the end of capitalism necessarily going to have to participate and try to compete within capitalism to have a chance at that end?
Yeah, that's fair.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you're taking back your bullshit, or you're just sticking with it?
No, I'm not at all. I just look.
Got it.
Look,
so you acknowledge it. You acknowledge it, but you have some inside information to my brain state, so you can know that that isn't my situation. That the fact that I am working this hard to get this political influence at that end, I'm actually tricking everybody when I could literally make a pivot to the right now and would make way more money going and joining Daily Wire and make all the videos about why I left the left and become the Ben Shapiro needs a replacement hard. If I could just pretend and it wasn't my actual values, but you have some sort of internal brain state knowledge where you, John, know that I actually am a hypocrite and I'm only doing this for the money. That's right, John?
Yeah, I think you're doing this for the money, sure.
It's very impressive.
I think you believe it too.
John, why did I turn my back on a more successful YouTube career doing reaction content to platform this instead?
I think you believe in your fucking left-wing bullshit. I think that's true, but you're also doing it for the money. I'm not doing it for the fucking money. I just see, like, you see.
Hey, I'm looking forward to you calling in because you literally can see with your own eyes that there are 30 people who work here. Most of them are contract employees, but I don't know why you would make such a dumb.
You see, like greed and pride are not my sins. I'm more of a fucking wrath and lust kind of guy.
And a racist.
Okay? And don't
forget being racist.
But you see, it's just realism. It's just true, man. You believe in evolution, don't you?
No, it's not. It's not. Yeah,
you
evolution doesn't.
Evolution?
I'm sorry. Yeah, hey, please cite for me. Go ahead. Hang on. I have a number of evolution books on my Kindle right now, and I have some physical ones in my house. So please tell me the biology textbook that presents your argument for the racist bullshit you believe.
Richard Lynn. Okay, there are differences. The way humans evolved was about humans descended from Homo erectus about 300,000 years ago. They left Africa about 100,000 years ago into Europe, into Asia. There was an ice age. And during the ice age, it changed the alleles, the high frequency alleles. This is why there are differences.
When was that ice age?
And this is why your ideas
when was that ice age?
Are fucking delusional and bullshit.
Hey, when was that ice age?
Equity is bullshit.
Hey, when was that ice age?
70,000, 28,000, and 10,000 years ago.
78,000, 20,000, and 10,000. And that ice age.
70. And
that ice age led to white people being better than black people?
Just there being differences in IQ.
Hey, does Richard Lynn describe himself as a racist? I'm curious.
I would imagine, yes, yeah.
Yeah, in fact, a scientific racist. So your actual claim is going to be people that the biology world consensus agrees is a racist piece of shit. And you believe that that book was going to be the one I found compelling? Your
college's left-wing dogma bullshit it's dominated by this fucking postmodernism.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. I have a question for you. I have a question for you then. Which branch of science was Richard Lynn in?
Psychology.
Oh, right. And which branch of science is evolution in?
Biology. But they're related. There is something called
they're definitely related. They're definitely related, but you were given a chance to give the expertise to me for the compelling race realism bullshit you were going with, and you went specifically with a psychologist, not a biologist. That consensus amongst the biologists is that he's a racist piece of shit and doesn't know what he's talking about.
You want a biologist? How about Richard Dawkins?
Richard Dawkins is a race realist?
I think he thinks race is real, sure.
Race realism is not whether race is real. John, John, you do recognize you're doing terribly, right? You do recognize how bad you're doing, right? Could you please point to me where Richard Dawkins lays out? Can you please point out to me where Richard Dawkins lays out the inherent genetic superiority of white people's brains and IQs to black people's brains and IQs and how that connects to your ice ages?
Yes, I will. But if you just stop interrupting me, you're afraid to let me talk. You're like the
Great. As long as the next thing out of your mouth is telling me where Richard Dawkins did that, then you won't get interrupted again.
Okay, all right. I'll pull up Richard Dawkins. Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
He's
Pull up when
race.
Richard Dawkins said black people have genetically lower IQs than white people.
I never made that claim. I just said that Richard Dawkins said race is not a social construct.
Never were you asked whether or not Richard Dawkins believes race is a social construct.
I'll pull up Richard Dawkins on race. I know he's talked about this. Hang on.
We're going to be here all day, I think.
I was just going to ask him when the Ice Age ended.
Yeah.
About 10,000 years ago.
Incorrect.
Oh, well, when did it?
It didn't. We're still in an Ice Age right now.
We're in an ice age, yet you fuckers talk about global warming, climate change, right?
Wow, you're stupid. But yeah, tell me more about black people's IQ.
God, you did not just say that. What is global warming measuring? When we say global warming, what are we specifically saying is changing?
Hey, fuckface. Richard Dawkins has argued
hey,
that race is biologically
fuckface. Hey, fuckface.
Dawkins,
When we say global warming, what are we specifically... Yeah, no, I don't, because you decided to change the topic, dipshit.
No, I'm still on Richard Dawkins.
When we say global warming, what are we describing as changing?
Climate change. The planet is getting hotter. I believe in it. It's true.
What are we specifically saying? Because you said, and yet we believe in global warming in response to us still being in an ice age.
Increase in carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. The planet is
no,
getting
you
hotter.
Fucking idiot. The rate of change. The rate of change. The rate of change follows normal, naturalistic rates when it is not impressed upon by humans and our carbon emissions. And we can measure that rate of change has gone off the fucking scale since the Industrial Revolution. And so you just sit there and go, we're saying that, by the way, we're in an ice age. The ice age somewhat is taking a break. However, we still have ice caps. And for you to go, and yet you guys say global warming is a thing. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know how to take seriously that you're trying to be here making an intellectual fucking point when you said something that stupid.
Global warming is real. I agree with you. Climate change is a problem, and humans are causing it. I agree with you.
Okay, are there permanent ice sheets in the world right now?
Well, they're melting in, like, the Arctic.
But are there permanent ones that aren't melting?
Oh, well, they're degrading slowly. Yeah, I mean, this is why we've had the
Jesus fucking Christ. This guy is like, I'm never going to answer anything truth. The reason why we're still in an ice age is because there are currently still existing permanent ice sheets. They're still there. They're in the poles. They're in Greenland.
Ice ages occur naturally throughout the planet's history. I agree with you.
Yeah, no shit.
But human activity has caused climate change in the last 50 years. There's not.
Then why would you have made such a dumb point? Why would you have made such a dumb point in response to Jovan saying we're in an ice age right now, and you said, and yet you guys believe in global warming?
But you do believe in global warming.
Why would those have been contradictory to each other, numbnuts? Climate change can be true, and we can be in an ice age.
Climate change is true. I agree with you.
You presented it as though those were conflicting. Then why did you make your dumb point, John? Are you really going to sit here and pretend you didn't fucking...
What's the dumb point that I agree with
John,
you?
He said we're still in an ice age. He said we're still in an ice age, and you said, and yet you believe in global warming, indicating that you believe those are mutually exclusive. So why did you say something so dumb?
There's been many ice ages in the last few hundred years. I think there was one in like the 1700s. But
I muted John since he's not going to answer the questions. We'll try him again in a minute. Jovan, what's your favorite recent addition to your set there?
I really like my 2 Digimon.
Hell yeah.
They're
Digital
chilling,
monsters.
and I like my All Might.
Digimon are the champions. I don't know. Do you even care? I mean, the guy's already outwardly racist.
I guess, do you want to hear what he thinks? When I realized who he was.
Yeah, I realized once you stopped taking the race issue, I was like, Jovan's out.
I just want to say, he was like, oh, we were in an ice age 10,000 years ago, and in the 1700s, we've been in the current ice age for 2.58 million years.
Yeah,
we have not left the current ice age.
It does ebb and flow, and we are in kind of a break. Like if we weren't, it would be colder, and I assume that that's what he would be hiding behind after he goes and he does research because
the interglacial periods.
I'm sure he's going to go and go. I just tried to repeat what I heard on a podcast. What did I get wrong? And then he'll be like, no, what I was saying is the same thing as them. That kind of goes on breaks sometimes, and we're in one of those breaks.
I'd love for him to tell me which gene make black people stupider.
Oh, that sounds good. And then maybe we'll hear his dumb points on Richard Dawkins, who I don't like. Richard Dawkins has some dumb. Richard Dawkins, like the way John stupidly believes a psychologist is who to trust on a topic that is more related to biology. Richard Dawkins believes as a biologist that has equal expertise to things that more pertain to psychology. They're making the same. Richard Dawkins has a lot of really dumb fucking points. And has reached that age where he doesn't really change. Unfortunately, it is the case. Once you get to a certain age, the likelihood of changing because of your brain's inability to accept things does go down. And he seems to have just embraced that. I don't know if his stroke contributed it or what, but well, Matt, John would be open to the fact that your IQ is higher than his because you're white. Matt's challenging him in the chat, saying that he's sure his IQ is higher. I think most people's IQ is probably higher than John. Anyway, John, what were you asking, Jovan?
What specific gene makes black people stupider?
Yeah.
It's the allele. It's the alleles. It's the DSNB1 gene. It's the GWAS gene. There's several the CHRM. There's several genes that it's high frequency alleles that are different.
I hope that you're going to call in when Forrest is on. I'd love to hear you bring these alleles. Hey, by the way, wait, John, what is an allele?
I
just want to wait before he does this, just because you know me, Jimmy, I like to fact check the shit stupid people say.
Yeah.
There's no scientifically accepted evidence that a gene called the DMBT1 gene causes black people to have lower IQs.
Dude, you want me to fucking pull this up for you?
Yes, I do.
Well, so far you failed at pulling up things all the time.
Pull up the study. Give me the study. Give me the study.
Yeah, it's on humanintelligence.org. Hang on a second.
Give me the name of the study.
Fuck your studies, dude. This is the bell curve.
Exactly, because you can't do it. Because you can't do it.
Fuck your studies.
Because you can't do it.
Fuck your studies.
It's because you can't do it.
Studies. You're backing your shit up with studies.
Hang on.
It's because you can't do it.
I can do it.
No, you can't.
I can do it. Yes, I can. Yes,
I can.
It also has to do with higher serum testosterone. This is why you have the 1350
Fuck your
problem.
studies.
So now I don't care. Pull the study.
The higher serum testosterone when women are outperforming men in intellectual fields all over the place.
I'll pull up my source for you, and if you want me to read your Richard Dawkins, I sure can. Richard Dawkins.
We just want the study. That's all we want.
Okay, just a minute.
Fuck your study.
Yeah,
that's what I'm going to remember from this day.
Things. You realize that, don't you? You realize?
Oh my God, they do? What? They say different things? Oh my God, my mind, it's fucking blown.
Find it weird that you've yet to give in the study.
Where's that study, buddy?
No, I'm getting it for you. It's on humanintelligence.org. This is where the genes are. I'm on the site right now. Just be a minute.
Oh God, shouldn't take this long.
Yeah, it's been about 30 seconds, dipshit.
You want to bet money on that one? You want to bet money that it's been 30 seconds?
There you go.
Want to bet some fucking money, bro?
Intelligence genes, GWAS, CHRM2, IGFR2, Diosyn.
That's not a study.
BP1.
Guys, I'm being overwhelmed by all the studies I'm being given right now.
This is not a study.
Oh my God, my studies.
Wait.
Yes, you do have to have a study.
Being given. Oh.
I got a study.
Great.
A recent study. FIFR D 2015-2018. published in the journal Intelligence, looked at genetic variation,
Called
increasing
what?
intelligence, discovered to date,
Called what?
heightened by G. What?
John, what's the name
what?
of the fucking study, you idiot?
It just says a recent study, Pfeiffer D. 2015-2018.
So you don't have a study. You just have a thing that references a study the way that you've been just saying there are studies.
A study not posted in a peer-reviewed journal, by the way.
Oh,
just a study posted on a website that some motherfuckers can point to.
Well, here,
let's take a look at humanintelligence.org, a privately run website. Oh wow, a privately run website devoted to research about human intelligence.
Moron, shut the fuck up. Hey,
it's independent overview of intelligent research.
I went ahead and muted John since he thinks he has any control here. John, you are such a hormonal, out of control little bitch. Like, legitimately, control yourself. How are you this much a slave to your emotions? Get your hormones in check. Maybe go to the doctor. See if I think your testosterone to estrogen balance is clearly out of whack. I don't know what's going on. Maybe you're mainlining that stuff straight into your butt. I understand that 40 years and you haven't had a single strong erection makes you very angry and upset, but you got to calm your shit down. You are really embarrassing yourself right now.
This website is built like dog shit, by the way.
Does it look like it was built in Cosmic Sans? I hope so.
Yeah. It's worse than that, honestly. Yeah. And it's citing the main point of the site is to cite Richard Lynn.
Okay, so it's literally a site around the psychologist who is understood by biologists to just be a fucking racist. By the way, I mean, Richard Lynn's height of his scientific inquiry would have been at least 50 years ago, if not more, and has just basically been a communicator of bullshit racism. And so your source is a website that also glorifies your source, and you don't know how to source. Because instead of showing where the studies were that said that this gene is specifically lacking in one race for another, and we're finding that across the board, and therefore IQs, blah, blah, blah. You're just saying the name of the gene. So just so you guys know, by this guy's definition, I am positive that John has massive erectile dysfunction. And my proof of that is the SIM1 gene. Now, I don't have a study proving that he has a strange SIM1 gene, SIM1, I'm just going to call it a strange SIM1 gene. I don't have a study, but I've said SIM1 gene, which is very often associated with severe erectile dysfunction. So therefore, I have just proven that John has terrible erectile dysfunction. We'll bring John back on. John, do you want a list of clinics to get your PP tested? I did just prove you have it.
Look. Part of the reason black people are so much more prone to criminality is because of higher testosterone levels.
Right, and your SIM1 gene is why you have erectile dysfunction.
Part of the reason, John, part of the reason you are more likely to be cucked by your wife is because you're a baby back bitch.
Yeah,
who
I have another question for John.
No evidence for any of his fucking claims. Because instead of going on the internet and getting evidence that is peer-reviewed with solid methodology, all instead you did was jack off into a sock at night. So I don't really give a fuck.
He'd need to be able to get an erection to do that. John, I have a question for you. Is your father also named John?
Is what? I didn't hear.
Is your father also named John?
No.
Well, whatever he is called, for short, do you call him dad or uncle?
Well, look.
Why choose one over the other? Do you call him dad, uncle?
Dunkle.
It's the same guy.
No, I just call him father.
Hey, John,
Dunkle
get
father.
help. This isn't a normal way to be. Your brain sucks.
Joke.
Your brain sucks. You're a piece of shit. There's a reason why you have no actual close relationships anywhere in your life.
Oh, I have plenty of friends.
No, you don't. No, none of them. All of them would not think about you if you stopped talking to them.
You got a dad.
Their lives. The only reason why. The only reason why they might think about you. No, I wasn't done. The only reason they might think about you is they might go, I've noticed in the last few months that my life has gotten better. Why is that? Oh shit! You know what? I haven't talked to John in forever. I think I'm just going to block him so he can never come back. I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to talk to his dad, who's his uncle. I'm good. Pass. Anyway, John, everybody is less intelligent for having heard your voice. My apologies to the audience. By the way, MAGA, that so far seems to be the best you guys can send us. You guys can't send us somebody for MAGA that isn't like plainly and just out there like, yeah, white people are better than black people. Like, if you can't, if that's what there is, then that's what you have. But if you can, 336-543-2101, my impression right now is the reason why that's who calls in is that's who represents MAGA these days. Rachel in Alabama, you're on the line with Jimmy, and Jovan has walked off for like the fourth time.
All right. Before we start, I think I recognize that guy's voice. He sounds like Thomas Rousseau, the John guy.
I don't know who that is, though, so...
He's the Patriot Front leader, but he sounds a lot like him. Like, I'm 89% sure that's him. But yeah, my issue is mainly
really. I don't even know who Patriot Front is. Really,
they're just a cult.
They're are they one of the like Proud Boy offshoots?
They have kind of like a Krusty Krab chum bucket type rivalry with them.
Oh.
They're the ones.
They're
the losers that were walking around Washington D.C. a while back.
Oh yeah, those guys. I imagine you can identify them by the black eyes on their wives.
I don't think they have wives.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, what's up? What are you calling in on?
So, I agree with you and Jovan on capitalism. I think capitalism is awful and just, but my issue is mainly, I don't think reforms can work. Capitalism in itself, yes, it's
What's the alternative? Or do you mean reforms to capitalism and keep capitalism? Because that's what we've been saying this whole time. We would just agree and
like what the DSA is wanting to do. They're wanting to get socialists in power, but that's really their only goal. Just get socialists in power. And
no, that's not their only goal. Don't, Rachel. That's not their only goal. It's in 2026. That's their goal because we have a midterms. You don't think they have a day 2 plan?
Well, from talking with members of the Marxist Unity Group and Reform and Revolution, those two caucuses, they don't, from what I've heard from these members, they don't really have a end goal after that. Now, I like Mamdani, and I like a lot of the people they've got into office.
And so Mamdani got into office and immediately started doing stuff because he did have a day 2 goal. Rachel, I'm just, where is this going? Is it that because you think they don't have a day 2 goal, the alternative is what? We just go and tear down the Capitol and we go accelerationist, we go to war? Or do you try and change what is a country still at least cosplaying democracy, see if you can get democracy back and make meaningful change?
Not exactly that. It's every reform we put in place, no matter how good they are, when terrible people like Trump or Chuck Schumer come to power, they're always going to repeal and remove these reforms that we put in place. They're not going to, it's like a Band-Aid on a broken window. It's good that we need these are all we can do.
So each election, you have to get more and more, and each election, you have to have a higher proportion to where either they don't have that option or you have such sufficient power, such enough power. Literally, you can see that the governance of Joe Biden, as well as the governments of people in Congress, have already been changed and moved just from them reacting to incoming small groups like the Squad, AOC, and all of that. So I think you're, Rachel, doing a little bit of a baby with the bathwater. You don't see in 2026 us electing enough people that we're going to see meaningful change. So you're ignoring that if any change happens, you're ignoring that both the right and the Democrats right now are having to adjust to the fact that actually the word socialist isn't only not hurting candidates. In some places, it's beginning to help them.
It is.
So
because the working class is, starting to realize it's just, my issue is, they're doing a lot of good, but I'm concerned that they're just going to, other people are just going to repeal this.
Of course, I'm concerned about that too, but what's the alternative?
Well, you have groups like the Revolutionary Communists of America, the Party for Socialism and Liberation, FRSO.
And why aren't they as mainstream and being accepted as the DSA?
The RCA is very mainstream. We've just got I think over 5,000 members now. And I
don't know. I'm not mad at you like the last caller, so I didn't know whether or not to just let the silence of what you just said set in. 5,000 members. Oh my God. Well, why don't we already own the country at this point? Your question was specifically, why are they not as successful as the DSA? How would shifting to groups with worse PR help us?
Sorry, I just want to say like two things. One, yeah, reform is not fixing the issue. Two, reform makes people's material conditions better so that they can actually focus on trying to fix the issue versus focus on where they're going to get their next meal from.
Very true.
So what is your alternative? Because so far it's been like, let's say Jovan and I agree with you. You know what? Let's put our asses behind the RCA. Jovan and I agreeing with you, we'll add 2 people. And then maybe a couple hundred people from the chat. And that will be up to not even 5,500 people. And we'll continue to not have as much success toward it. Like, I don't know what you're saying is. It seems like you're saying abandon the DSA because you don't feel like they have a good enough day 2, and instead go with these other guys who aren't working yet, which to me is some of the like that leftist purity bullshit that I absolutely hate, where they're like, we'd actually rather the people getting any progress to fail if they're not our specific people.
Oh no, I reluctantly support the DSA. I supported Mamdani when he was running. I'm supporting another DSA candidate from my home state, but it's more just concern that they're gonna. This isn't more so that's not going to work out in the end. You know,
I mean, we have evidence. We have evidence though that if at least all the DSA candidates are like Mamdani, we have evidence that they are going to make people's material conditions better. So why don't we just see if they do and they are gaining the traction that they're gaining, let's run with it, right?
It's crazy, too, because we're talking about right now midterms. So these DSA people that you're worried about, they don't have a day 2 plan. If their day 2 plan is only consult other members of the DSA on how to vote on representative legislation, then their day 2 plan's already pretty fucking good. Like, do you think these DSA candidates are going to get in and it's going to be like, well, I don't know if the other members of the DSA, whether they're going to want for me to vote for or against more bombs to Israel. No, they're going to vote like the DSA would vote.
One of the problems with DSA candidates when they get in power, like Julia Salazar, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, is that they turn around and they'll defend Israel instead of doing what the DSA wants them to do.
How has AOC defended Israel?
Right. This is, again, leftist purity shit. So you're going to now invoke a vote that she didn't join from MTG, and you're going to misinterpret what happened there, and that drives me crazy. And AOC, as a DSA member, might be literally our next president. She's literally polling well, and it's looking... So as far as progress towards socialism, that's a giant step toward it.
Well, it's more so the thing with what's her name, Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. You know, when that whole thing went on.
What thing?
Where Nancy Pelosi made her vote something in favor of Israel when she didn't want to do it.
What was the something?
She kind of had to. Something about sending aid, sending weapons to Israel.
See, you just said something like sending aid, sending weapons. You literally right now, Rachel, are spreading misinformation because you don't know the thing that you are holding against her and are now trying to publicly decry her for the things you don't know.
What happened was there was a vote on specifically funding for Israel's Iron Dome system. AOC initially voted no. She spoke with Pelosi, and then she changed her vote to present, as opposed to voting yes. So she didn't even count as a yes. She didn't change her vote to yes, because she opposed the bill.
Okay. She still should have voted no instead of voting president.
Yes, she should have voted no. I agree. And you know what? I'm still going to vote for her for president if she's on the ticket.
I will too, if she's...
And I'm going to sit here and celebrate. I'm going to sit here and celebrate the progress that is.
She's the lesser of two evils. But
everyone will be the lesser of two evils. She would be far from as far as the distance between her and Biden was, or Kamala Harris, we're getting closer to good, and we're seeing an actual pathway to good for the first time. This is way less a thing you can just summarize as lesser of two evils. But and using the same phrase that we use to describe Biden versus Trump is fucking crazy.
But I don't
expect her to be another too long. Sorry.
But Rachel, hold on. We shouldn't criticize candidates without knowing the actual facts behind the criticism, right? Like, I'll criticize Biden and Obama all day because I believe they're war criminals, because I know about them approving bombs in Yemen and Syria, right? But like, we're going to criticize AOC for something. It should be something she actually did. But AOC, like Mamdani, who are DSA backed candidates, have actually gotten change through. AOC prevented Amazon from building another fulfillment center that would have destroyed the local economy of her district in New York.
And I support her for that. That was a very good thing she did.
Do you think AOC got nothing out of changing her vote from no to present?
I think it was more so just a stunt for the establishment candidates of the Democratic Party, and she's kind of becoming an establishment candidate.
You think that she's literally touring with Bernie and other socialists, and you think she did it just to what? Her favorability was already higher than all of the people compelling her to. This is my shit. This is the shit we were talking about at the beginning of the show. I hate when leftists decide the only information that matters is what they can come up with off the top of their head. When there is no nuance, when there is no, I'm going to examine why by the way, we don't actually know what the answer is. It seems very unlikely that there would be a compelling reason that would just be because Nancy asked her to, because she wanted to impress the establishment Dems. There would have almost certainly been hey, you switch to present and I'll get you a vote on this.
Her stated reason, AOC's stated reason, is that she experienced, specifically, she said the circumstances on the House floor, because of how contentious it was, she was afraid to vote no because of the anger coming from the Republicans. Like, she was actually afraid for her safety if she voted no.
That's not a good excuse for me, but right. I'm still sure there's more negotiations.
That's the reason on record versus.
Yeah. I don't like that reason either. If you're going to admit that reason, I don't know. I don't know how to support a candidate who will say, if I'm afraid of getting punched, I'm going to change my vote. That's a pretty rough. Not candidate, but I can't defend that phrasing.
Silence in the face of evil, still letting evil win.
Again, you don't know that that's what happened. You are presuming so much. Rachel, you called in not even knowing what the actual vote was and what her vote was. You certainly don't know what happened behind the scenes, and we don't have evidence since that happened that she's been going more pro-Israel, quite the opposite. And so when you make a claim like that, and this is a thing that I only learned a few years about, there's like a type of philosophical arguing you do. I can't remember what it's called, but it's literally like, if somebody makes a claim, one of the ways you evaluate it is in the time since then, or in the situation surrounding that, what would you expect if that claim is true? And so your claim is she's basically gone Israel, gone AIPAC. Okay, well, that's over a year ago now. What would you expect if that was true? That she's made that pivot, that she's selling herself out at that point. And I can't think of a single thing that supports that theory, whereas I can think of several that do not. So would you have a single theory? A single thing you can point to that goes, we can tell.
The DSA. They're a Band-Aid on a broken window, but they're all we have.
Rachel, I appreciate that you're getting now.
Disagree with that.
I think you've been moved into a corner. I understand it.
Yeah.
Right now, your ego, and I don't mean it in a bad way, I mean the little way everyone has an ego, is going into protection mode. You're now in a corner where very clearly you are going to have to admit you are terribly wrong, and that's hard to come to terms with. And so instead of engaging what I just asked you, you went all the way back to the original thesis. And so I don't want to
admit that I'm wrong. Yeah.
I appreciate that. I'm not going to try. I'm going to try and be more human than I often am on the show. Identify you're having a human experience. It's embarrassing to find out you're wrong, and a person needs to go and evaluate that and think about it, or go find out if the comment section is going to have people in it to tell you that I was full of shit. You could go and examine whatever facts they come with. They probably won't. But you also go and examine. If what I'm saying is correct, then you're wrong. But what if it's not? So I think the easy thing to do here, Rachel, we do want to talk to you in the future, but is to try and extend you a little humanity. And you probably are in a vulnerable state right now. And let's do this again in another day if you have more contentions. Cool.
I'll use this as a learning experience, and I hope both of y'all have a great day.
Thanks, Rachel.
Yeah, you too.
All right.
Yeah, I want to just reassert, I don't think the DSA is a solution either. But I would rather put a Band-Aid on a cut than let the cut fester.
Schlez, if you're going to say it wasn't full of shit this time, you have to call, or Schleng Brazil. You have to call and tell me what I was full of shit on. It's meaningless if you put it in the live chat. I want to know if I'm full of shit on something. But putting it in the live chat, I don't know that you're not a robot. I don't know that you're not my family. You got to call in and actually tell me what I'm full of shit on.
Sorry.
Was that a reference to? Was that Vin Diesel?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Before we take the last call that we have, which I'm interested in, but like, if you were to ever, you can't now, and it sucks. But one of my favorite things to do whenever I have friends come here who don't know theme parks, I like to hype up the Fast and Furious ride. Because when you hear the Fast and Furious ride at Universal, you're like, oh shit, that's probably crazy. It is the worst ride ever created ever. So I like to hype up for them that they're going to ride this crazy thing, only for them to ride like a 2-mile-an-hour bus ride. And it's great. But it's closing, so I can't do that bit anymore.
Oh, yeah. I like that. Lillette, did you think that I was lying about what I left to go do? If so, you haven't been here very much. Had I been leaving to take a shit, I would have not said I'm going to walk around and change my pants.
Jimmy would have just said, I'm taking a shit.
I got to go take a shit.
And then he would have showed us the drink he drinks to make himself take a shit. He's done that before.
That doesn't make me shit. It makes my shit be solid instead of liquid.
Solidifies your shit.
It does. Yeah. Guys, I would honestly say, were I not so locked into this activism, if I could find a way to be a poop activist, but to destigmatize the fact that we don't talk about our shits. I'm not even joking. In the last month, I will have had 3 or 4 friends mention that they have, I sometimes have stomach problems, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll just describe to them, like, okay, look, I know what you're trying to tell me is you have chronic diarrhea. And here's some information you probably don't know because we don't talk about it. And at least 2 of them told me they are testing cholestyramine now, that they asked their doctor about it and are testing it, and the other 2 said they were going to look into it. We have to talk about poop as a society because we're all sick. Stomach and bowel cancer is skyrocketing, and because we won't talk about or admit that we're pooping is legitimately making a lot of people sick and bad and worse.
Poops.
I'm not even joking.
Sometimes.
I don't see a route to talking about poop. Especially, I'm not a gastroenterologist, so I don't even have that basis. The same way, like, Forrest talks about bio, I don't think I would be embraced and be able to successfully do it. But, Jesus Christ, we have got to. I'm even to the point where, like, I shame people a little bit. You've seen me do it to Promise. Promise does that joke of, I never poop. I don't poop. Girls don't poop. I actually think that I'm not... Do not go cancel her or say I said go cancel her, though you can tell her Jimmy told me to come cancel you if you want. That's funny. I actually think that is a very common, very ableist joke that people do. I actually think we're making society worse because we are creating the idea that poop is so shameful. We should all pretend. It is literally now more shameful to admit you poop than that you fuck. And that's getting fucking crazy. Anybody turning this into a fetish thing will immediately get blocked in chat for at least the day. Fuck you in your fucking face. That's gross and not, that's actually not cool. You're in timeout. I'm giving you the first one a 10-minute timeout. It's disgusting. Legitimately, we are having we need as a society to talk more about the quality of our poops. And if, by the way, if you have chronic diarrhea, like a lot of diarrhea, you need to ask your doctor about bile acid malabsorption and if you can try a thing called cholestyramine. It is not a real drug. It is a resin that bulks up your shits and it prevents bile that is over present in your bowels from agitating your bowel and causing your body to then flood your bowel with water, which causes the diarrhea, which is why, especially if you have a lot of close calls where it's like, it feels very urgently like you have to shit. And so you've done things like sacrifice having a social life unless you know that there is a toilet you are comfortable going to. You should ask, because it's turning out from the research that is emerging from the Mayo Clinic that bile acid malabsorption, I think it's something like it may be the cause behind like 45% or something. Maybe it was 60. It was a really big number of IBS cases in general. And IBS is a blanket thing that they basically don't ever say about. They don't tell you what it is. It's a blanket catch thing. You should talk to your doctor about bile acid malabsorption, because if that is true and the number's that high, that's representing all IBS, D and C. If you do the you change the math, it could be as high as 80 to 90% of IBS D, chronic diarrhea, is actually caused by bile acid malabsorption. For the record, the person who talked about fecal transplants treat your biome. Undoubtedly, after you get your bile acid malabsorption under wraps, it potentially can help with dietary issues. And so in theory, you're right that it could be something that would be helpful for other problems I have, because my intestines basically got wrecked by bile for 2 decades. But it would not cure actual bile acid malabsorption. Bile acid malabsorption means that you are creating too much bile and your body's not reabsorbing enough before it hits your colon. All right. I felt like I had a captive audience of 1,800 people who that information for a lot of you is like, oh, blah, blah, blah. You're going to at some point in the next year have somebody who's got tummy issues who needs to hear about bile acid malabsorption if they think they have IBS-D. It is not the same as Crohn's. A lot of people with Crohn's do end up with bile acid malabsorption, and you can help with your symptoms of Crohn's, I think, by treating it as well, but it is distinctively different than Crohn's. The resin is gross. There is a capsule form. I got used to it. My autism, it was hard to get past my autism, and now that I'm used to it, I just do it. There is a capsule form called Cholestavam or something like that. Welchel, W-E-C-H-O-L, actually. This last call, I'm pretty sure, is just a person calling in with like a fun fact. Is this not a debate? Hi. Evan in Kentucky. Hey,
Yes.
Are you calling in with a debate point or a question, or just to kind of rant about a pet topic of yours?
I've got a mixture of things. I've got a couple of small topics to discuss.
Okay, so Evan, just hang on. Off the top, let's skip any monologues and any I want to share whatever, because we don't do those here. That's not the purpose of the show. But if you have direct questions for us that aren't just a setup so you can monologue, and we're more interested in points of contention and argument, those are where you need to go. I'm trying to understand something, because we have, one question that I have that is more about the structure of the show itself. That is, I can't always pay for my SIM card for my smartphone, and I was wondering why it is that you only allow web call-ins for international viewers, and because it's the best bad solution. It's the best bad solution to, if we leave it open to everybody, the amount of troll callers from the U.S. using the web browser dramatically upticks. So I feel bad that that's true with your SIM card thing. I hope you'll find a prepaid data plan that comes with unlimited, or you will switch to using a VoIP that attaches a phone number, and then you can call in through that on your smartphone. But it's the best bad solution we have.
I have a smartphone. I just can't always, pay for the SIM card.
Google Voice. If you use Google Voice and you route out through VoIP, it uses data instead of minutes.
I understand. So I've been concerned with something that certain characters, and I do want to qualify what I'm saying. I have some communication issues due to personal disability, so I may seem a little bit incoherent. I have cerebral palsy. I'll try to adhere to Judge Judy rules when we're speaking, and if you have any issues with how I'm communicating, let me know. Okay.
Evan, you're in the last 4 minutes of the show, so my main thing is just ask your questions so we can get through it.
Okay.
Your voice is fine.
I'm hearing characters like Nick Fuentes saying things like Christ is king and things like that. I'm concerned about that because I'm an agnostic atheist who doesn't like to see America moving toward theocracy. I've been trying to leave the U.S. for a while and it failed doing so. My concern is this, and I was wondering if this is a good argument against anybody trying to say that, or using an epitaph like Christ is king. Is it necessarily the case that during the period of the Roman during the period in which the actual historical Jesus lived, that by saying that Jesus was king of the Jews, that was necessarily a form of sedition against Caesar, at the time, because Jesus was never actually king of the Roman
Evan,
province of Judea.
I'm going to pop in. I'm not a historian or a scholar of the Bible, nor do I think this argument would matter at all, even if you could prove that to the person who is saying it, because in their world, they would happily commit sedition for Jesus. So I would recommend, if we have a night with slow callers with some of the scholars and historians that do these shows, that's who I would recommend asking if you just want to kind of like, hey, wouldn't this count as this or that or whatever? But this wouldn't really be. I just don't think that.
I tried to ask Seth Andrews and Matt Dillahunty, and neither of them have been able to adequately answer my question.
Okay, well then
I'd ask Justin.
Yeah, Justin, but also if they couldn't, then I don't know. I this is not an argument that would compel a former Christian version of me.
I understand.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna let you go there, Evan.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I am going to answer this last question before we go. Do you know if GERD has any connection to bile malabsorption? I also have GERD. They are technically not linked. Managing my bile acid malabsorption has improved my GERD a lot, but they are not technically directly linked because you are describing what is produced by your esophagus and your stomach or guts into your esophagus from your stomach versus what is produced by your bile, and you're talking about different directions. Generally, dietary guidelines are very similar, but bile acid malabsorption is actually more affected by a high-fat diet, and then if you have any particular triggers like lactose intolerance, whereas GERD is more triggered by high acid content. So definitely bile, not bioacid, bile acid, BILE. I'm glad somebody spelled it wrong because I'm positive if you did, so did a lot of people. Bile acid malabsorption is the one to look up and screen yourself for. Luckily for you, if you have it, you're probably going to be okay. I have it very severely. I'm at the highest level of severity when it comes to bile acid malabsorption. You'll be able to have a better life than you see me having as far as ability to travel and do things and restrictions. But bile, BILE, acid malabsorption, if you have diarrhea chronically, often, doesn't have to be every day. For me, I like, not to TMI, but here we are. I was probably having 8 to 10 episodes of diarrhea daily for years before we finally caught it. So don't be there. And if you have yellow diarrhea a lot, I'm not a doctor, but to me, I'm like, you have it. Then you just do have it. If your diarrhea is often yellow, you've got it. I don't know what to tell you. You got it. All right. That's it for us, guys. Go and watch After Dark with, who's on After Dark? Somebody tell me. Does anyone know? Let me find out. Luthien? Do you know who's on After Dark?
I just looked and I immediately
It's Ian and Eric.
Ian and Eric. Wasn't Eric on the show with you?
Yeah.
Did I accidentally put Eric on 2 shows on the same day?
Yeah. Well, remember, there's not many of us here right now because a bunch of us are at
NanoCon, which I'm impressed we had such a high audience, even though there's NanoCon going on. That's good. And even though a lot of people's favorites are missing. Yes, Colistipol is a similar med in tablet form. And I think it's by similar, I think it means they took the sugar and flavor out and just packed it in. Cholestyramine is a sweetened orange powder, but it is a resin. So it's not, it doesn't have the same like risks a typical medication would. In fact, it has almost none. And the nice thing is if you don't have bile acid malabsorption and you use it, you'll just see nothing happen. It's like the easiest diagnostic test ever. And for me, the first day I took it, my life changed. I had to then increase the dose to maintain a good life change, but yeah, it's crazy. All right, bye everybody. Go watch Poop Talk. Oh, blindpod.app.